All right. Hello, everybody. My name is RAPiD, and we're going to be analyzing some of the OpenAI AlphaStar StarCraft 2 AI replays today as part of Titan EX1's AlphaStar Uncovered series. You can see that over there. Um, I don't know what we're in for, except that you might have gotten a chance to see a little bit of what this stream looked like on episode 1, which I think is the previous broadcast on this channel if you want to check the VOD out over there. Also, let me know if my voice is too high or too low. And in order to get your feedback, you can tweet at RAPiDcasting on Twitter and let me know what's going on over there. Hope everything is okay. If not, then hopefully I get spammed with notifications. So I'm going to be checking my Twitter, which is your primary way to interact with me. The Africa TV chat is nice, but unfortunately, due to some production value issues I was having earlier, I can't actually get it to update live on my stream. So good luck there. Best way to reach me is on Twitter. And of course, you can also tweet at TitanEX1 and thank them for putting on this kind of program here. So basically, we're going to get started with a couple of replays. I was just in here in my settings, setting everything up and getting ready to go. We've got a ton of replays from AlphaStar on the ladder, and this is going to be primarily the Terran AlphaStar, but also we've got AlphaStar representing Protoss and Zerg here as well. I think the Protoss AlphaStar is by far the most well-equipped, the most I don't know what you want to say, evolved of the AIs. The Terran AI really struggles with building placement and for the most part does not totally understand the concept of walling. The Zerg AI does okay because it can just make a lot of units, but it struggles, I think, early on because it doesn't know when it's about to die, I don't think. I don't know. We've got a lot of things to talk about. Those are some general concepts, and obviously these AIs play against each other hundreds and thousands of times and are definitely learning quite a bit. So we'll have a chance to highlight some of the replays of players that have played against this AlphaStar AI agent on the ladder. And so I guess let's just go ahead and get right into it. Going to start by opening the first replay right now. Loading into it, this is going to be an example of the Terran AlphaStar AI. And here we go. Okay, so this is game number 1. Let me make sure that I have all of the audio enabled adequately. Actually, I'm going to leave the music on. We need a little bit of music. Okay, so let me know about the game volume, if this game volume is too quiet, and if it is, then I will update that as soon as possible. Okay, sick. I think I've got it. Sorry, just starting things up right at the beginning. So this is the Terran, or this is the Terran human opponent or player, Moppy. I'm guessing I'm saying that right. And then playing against the blue Terran player, which is, of course, the AlphaStar AI agent. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what AlphaStar is or the OpenAI research project, Google has set up this DeepMind AI research project that is tackling some very, very difficult, previously intractable problems for machine learning and AI research. Previously, it did AlphaGo, which is the AI applied to the game Go or Baduk, depending on where you play that. And then most recently, it's been AlphaStar, which is working on StarCraft 2 specifically. So you might have seen a previous broadcast where the AlphaStar Protoss agent was presented and kind of released to the public or via a broadcast that showcased it versus a couple of pro gamers that really had a lot to say about the ways in which it was learning and performing. A couple of things that we can just talk about as far as the openings go for both players. Very standard one racks opening here, no rocket science at all here from our Terran player, Moppy. But on the other side, you can see that this is a barracks into factory, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see starport, except that I keep in mind my experience is from watching the Protoss OpenAI, and my other experiences from watching human players play. So watching the AlphaStar Terran AI is still something that I think a lot of people are still learning about. So I believe we can actually, let me make sure that I can do this. Yeah, we can actually see what the AlphaStar AI is doing right here. So this is the AlphaStar AI, excuse me, perspective. And so we should see human-like movements here, but the logic behind it might be a little bit iffy sometimes. So just some things to kind of think about, talk about initially. So a 1-1-1 opening. I think if you are a Terran player, a human player, then a lot of times you'll see like a 3 Reaper 2 Hellion opener. And sometimes that does make sense. Other times it absolutely does not. And so I'm waiting to watch out. Oh, wow. Okay, so it's changing the add-ons, and I think everything looks okay. The first Reaper, absolutely blown away. So let's actually check out the human player's view, Moppy. So Moppy over here is actually...
Command center upgrade complete.
I think pretty solid for the most part. If you check out the APM, they're actually pretty even. And I think a lot of people made a big deal out of the APM, but I don't think that it actually matters all that much when it comes to the amount of actions per minute. It's going to be pretty even for the most part. Although I will say that there's going to be some spamming going on. So just to switch back to the AlphaStar AI. I don't think that there's anything out of the ordinary at all. You can see that it's not like it can cheat and hack through walls and see everything globally. It is, I think, primarily just doing things that are not extremely strange. I mean, maybe the depot placement's a little bit suboptimal, but I mean, it's got a Banshee out. It teched all the way up. It's now expanding, so maybe it's slow on the expansion, but I mean, look at the Banshee coming through. I don't think there's really anything to deal with this aside from early Marines. I mean, there's a Viking, but there's Cloak, so that's obviously not going to be a good option. Scan, but it's going to be able to fly outside the scan, and let's see what the control is like. You can see just barely skirting outside the range of the scan. I think there is another... No, there's actually no more scans left. Wow, so this is actually a ton of damage. You can see it frantically trying to build a missile turret here. But Moppy, yeah, does get the missile turret up, but I think this is going to be... Oh, okay, it flies into another missile turret. So I guess it didn't have vision of the missile turret down here, and the detection radius didn't reveal it. So that's a lot of damage done. The second one obviously will not be quite as effective. There's the scan, and a couple more Viking missiles will take it out. Oh no! It barely gets outside range with, what is that, 2 HP? Yeah, 2 hit points. And maybe it'll get lured back into the missile turret vision. Yeah. Okay, so that's obviously not ideal, but here's the big push, right? So let's switch over to our human player and see what's going on here. I mean, obviously there's a bunker at the front with a siege tank here, but you actually unsieged the siege tank, so that's not what you want. It's going to re-siege that almost immediately. I think there's another one coming out here, so I don't think this is the way you breach the front. See what's going on back. AlphaStar HQ trying to use the Banshee pretty well, but I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary, to be honest, so it's not like it's really able to accomplish a whole lot that is rocket science for the most part. So trying to breach, breaking through here into the siege tank line. One of the tanks does get target fired down. The second one takes a lot of damage, excuse me, but ultimately can't do anything. Landing the Vikings on the tank should be enough to take it out, and there they go.
Our SCVs are under
Meanwhile,
attack.
in the main, you can see more Banshee harass. I think the Banshee harass is honestly the thing that has done the most damage this game by far. The siege tanks, oh no, they need to be sieged up. Is it? There's actually no anti-air to try to save this tank from the Banshee. It's out of range, so the Banshee itself is going to be able to pick off all of these tanks because they were unprotected, and the Viking movement is just not good enough to catch these Banshees before they escape vision range.
Ready to blunder.
Ooh, but now all the Vikings going down means that, okay, no, he does remake one Viking. He needs to have another one over here because there needs to be anti-air cover. More rallies coming through. Once again, we're not getting beyond 2 base timing here, so I don't know if at any point we might see a 3rd command center. But okay, well, I mean, we're attempting to build it in the main base, but I don't know if that's really going to be coming to fruition anytime soon. Oh, man, I hate seeing these Banshees live with like just 2 HP. This is our life now. So I mean that's survival, right? Moppy is alive, but what does he have to worry about coming up? See, the macro is actually pretty on point for both players. Moppy just lost quite a bit trying to survive there. Might actually need to build some more production buildings. That would perhaps be a little bit helpful. And of course, you can see the barracks coming through. So yeah, just gonna pump out a bunch of Marines. But still, man, dealing with these Banshees is like, I mean, just get a Raven, man. At this point, you need it. You need just a Raven. I'm waiting to see if there's any like sneaky other Banshees out here, and actually, I guess we can do that. It's only 1 Banshee at a time right now, and I think it's just the control is so good. Let's see what the energy is on this Banshee. About to run out of it, but not before it does more and more damage. Up, fly in there.
Ready to roll out. SCV ready.
Mineral field depleted.
And wow, we are actually going to get up to 3 bases. I'm impressed.
SCV ready.
Because honestly, I didn't know totally what to expect when it came to
Add-on complete.
either the AI or the players that it's playing against. Keep in mind there's AlphaStar AIs at a wide range of MMRs, so it's not like you can judge totally what exactly to expect. Liberator coming through. I think this should be vastly easier to deal with because it does not cloak Liberator technology. Is not something we've researched yet. The Banshees sure do, and yeah, they are killing it. It's going to take a little bit more than 2 Marines to deal with that guy. Out of range. Wow, Vikings, they just don't make them like they used to. Where's my Viking range upgrade?
Fueled up, ready to go. SCV ready. Ready to blunder.
Mineral field depleted.
Okay, there we go. I think I might have chat working now.
Ready to blunder.
In theory. We'll test that in a second. So if somebody in chat wants to type, then maybe we can get that working. Otherwise, I'm still not totally sure what to expect. Okay. Anyway, sorry but for the terrible observer controls. I'm still super bad at that. We're building the armory at the front, guys. I don't know totally about that, but we have certainly turtled up. We've got a ton of missile turrets there, 1 right there at the edge, a turret ring over here. We are just killing it. Defensively, this is immaculate.
Engine screaming.
SCV ready.
Vespine Geyser.
Can't hold them alone.
Command center upgrade complete.
Move out here from our human player, Moppy. Checking to see if this is the location it's taken.
Upgrade
It's not.
complete.
Ready to blunder.
And here we go. AlphaStar back at it again with the Banshee harass. This little Marine hit squad didn't totally accomplish a whole lot. We'll see how much more these Banshees are able to get done. 2 of them, they're cloaked, they're coming in. Oh wow, actually not able to snipe off the SCV. Not what it used to be. Anyway, they are going to get 1 tank, maybe 2. Nice pickup there into the medevac. Able to save that tank for now. There's the scan, but oh no, it's tragically misplaced. And honestly, for Moppy, I'm still waiting to find, or waiting for him to swap this starport over and get a Raven. Now we're actually seeing the landed Vikings come through here. I don't know if this is like style points, but obviously this is an insane number of landed Vikings. They are mowing everything over. It is. Actually, you know, if you just told me that these were like, say, gold players, I don't think I'd see too much out of the ordinary. I mean, they're both sitting around 200-300 APMs, so I mean, maybe that would be high for that skill level. But Oh, man, there's just nothing to stop these Vikings. They're just going to keep chilling. This is a supply drop, by the way, so that's going to be
SCV ready.
difficult to lose.
Additional supply depots required.
But what is even coming? Where's that? There's no units. That's it. GG. And a win for our Terran overlords. The robots have taken us down once again. And wow, that's going to do it for our first game. I got to say, I'm a little bit rusty with the observer controls, and I'm still trying to get the hang of this, but we've got a ton of replays to do and lots of StarCraft coming your way. I'm feeling pretty good, so let's just move on into our second replay. This is going to be, once again, the Terran agent for AlphaStar's AI, and it's going to be against a guy named Firestorm, so that's what's coming up next. Load into that here. Excuse me. Just a second. Sorry, I'm still trying to wake up over here. It's a bright early morning in Seoul, South Korea, and it looks like we're ready to go with game number 2 of our AlphaStar Uncovered show, of course, presented by Titan EX1. That's why their logo's on the screen, in case you were wondering. My favorite part is that the AlphaStar AI opens up with a GLHF every game. I appreciate the good manner that's programmed in. Never gets old. It's okay, the music can be louder. All right, well, your wish is my command. Let's see what we're doing on sound. Music. We'll go 40%. Is that crazy? Maybe it's crazy. I turned the music up, I promise. Anyway, the map is New Repugnancy. So it's a map that you guys should be pretty well acquainted with. It's a 2-player map, and I think that probably the AIs function better on 2-player maps, just because it removes a lot of scouting variability. This is a Protoss human player versus a the AI Terran player, just to get that out of the way. And it looks like the Protoss human player is going to get an SCV. And boom goes the dynamite. So you can see the micro, the control there, the repair control, probably not up to par. At least, if you were talking about the most godlike cheater AIs out there. But losing an SCV is certainly not the way you really want to start off your game. For the most part. Now let's see, there's not a whole lot going on here. Let's check out the Protoss starting build order. Not going to be any cheese, early Nexus, so not a, nothing rocket science-y at all. Meanwhile, on the other side, Command Center coming down a little bit slower than the Nexus, but again, that was very, very fast. And Reaper coming out on the map, so nothing crazy going on. Okay, just keeping up with chat. Firestorm is apparently a Masters level Protoss. Thank you to Titan EX1 in the chat, which is the alt. That's the AI me. So I've got the Titan EX1 AI in chat helping out. If you guys are interested in information on the games or the players, then that's programmed to let you guys know what's happening. The Reaper control, I think this looks basically human, right? Gets in, gets the kill, gets out. Sorry, Adept, you are not going to be able to chase this guy down. He is out of there. Of course, the scouting probe returning home safely. Look at this. See? Can you pet the dog in StarCraft 2? This is just going to show you that the Terran, or the AI can exist in harmony with nature here. See? We're just chilling. That's the future of our world, guys. On New Repugnancy. Some idle probes as they were maneuvering down. No control on the probe. Okay, yeah, he is going to pull the probe away. A couple of probes very, very low, and this Reaper's still in the main. Yeah, just put an Adept here on defense duty if you're not going to send it across the map. As far as the APM goes, still going pretty well. Sorry, continues music. It's very important. I didn't realize that restarts the song. But anyway, the biggest annoyance this game has been the Reaper control. And I mean, if you're saying that, okay, this is a Masters level Protoss, there's some things that you should expect from Masters level players, right? And I feel like one of the first ones is just the ability to deal with things that you're going to have happen every game, which is Reaper harass, right? I mean, I think that's pretty much the go-to. It's not like, I mean, skipping that would have to have a pretty good reason behind it. But still, basically the exact same build order. I guess the Cyclone's a little bit not interesting. Nothing to write home about so far. What are we researching? Cloak for Banshees. Surprise! I think we're probably going to see a lot of Banshees in our games today, guys. For Firestorm, he's getting a Dark Templar on the way. So I'm very excited to see that, and of course the Warp Prism. I'm actually super curious to find out how the AI handles DTs. Because DTs are something that, like, as a human, you're probably going to get really mad and lose them a lot until you get up to a good level when you first start. And then you kind of just learn to either scout for them or adjust your play in a way that takes that potential into account. Just have a thing that detects somewhere. So for Terran, that would be saving maybe a scan. There is one scan about to be up here, and only one turret, I believe, for detection. So this main is completely unprotected, and as soon as some cloaky boys show up, this is not going to be fun. So dropping the Dark Templar, an immediate scan here. He should be able to pick them up. He's going to be able to drop it out of range. Oh my... okay, well that's not working as planned. Well... Okay, now the missile turret goes up. But honestly, I think that actually could have done a ton of damage if, obviously it hadn't gone tragically poorly. If one DT gets in there, maybe even two, then yeah, you can deny turrets coming up. This just turns into a total tragedy. And there was only one scan energy left. So that is still definitely not what you want. This observer, I guess technically you might be able to figure that out, or figure out where that is as an AI. I love the double missile turrets at the front, just to make sure. Yep, there it is. Scans to take it out. It was in siege mode, so not too difficult to find out where that is. Third base coming up for our Protoss player, Firestorm. And on the other side, building command center here might look a little bit weird, but obviously you can just float it over. One of the things I was curious about is how the Protoss, or how the AlphaStar AI handles floating buildings. Just because oftentimes you'll see human players hot swap those quite a bit to get different add-ons at different times when they need it. But I don't actually see too much of that going on. There was an idle add-on in the first game that we saw, but aside from that, there really hasn't been too much. Cloak Banshee being dealt with, but having to pull the probes obviously sucks. As far as the worker count goes, obviously much more for AlphaStar. And this is kind of a holdover hallmark of the previous AlphaStars that you might have seen, is that they just build a lot of workers. Who even knows what saturation is? AlphaStar doesn't. Because hey, if you're going to harass the worker line, then there's a ton of workers, then you can just save them all. So obviously these are very oversaturated in theory. We're going to lift this off. Oh no, it's upgrading right there. Well, obviously you want to be mining with some of the extra workers that you have. I love the sensor tower right here, just really playing this very defensively. And actually, if you think about the way an AI learns based on the way that humans learn, I don't think it's rocket science to compare this to a game of a new player playing. Where you build your base very compactly, where you're always a little bit scared of what the potential is in the dark, scary wilderness out there. Yeah, I don't think this is out of the ordinary at all. observer coming back. But once again, massive worker damage. You can see 40 to 65. Obviously, maybe you don't need 65 workers as Terran, but now you will. You can see already instantly saturating that base, and maybe undersaturating a little bit up here. I don't think you need 17 workers on 4 mineral patches. But finally, the moment of truth. A giant Protoss army, armed with not-so-blinky stalkers, coming in. No, not like that, you're not. Marines tanking perfectly for the siege tanks in the back, and I think Firestorm is, yeah, does not have a chance. Went for one big attack, and that did not do it. So, whew, man, that looked a little bit rough there at the end. It looks like this Banshee harass. You just go for cloaked Banshees every single game. And honestly, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But also, let's see how AlphaStar handles a little bit. So we've seen a TVT, TVP, and so now let's get a TVZ and see how it handles Zerg. So obviously, you have to learn 3 different matchups. Previous version of AlphaStar was only Protoss. It was only a Protoss agent. And there were multiple Protoss agents, and they would all play against each other. But it's only one matchup. You know you only have one unit set. So it's much different when you have a bunch of different matchups to learn. And so you're introducing orders of magnitude more difficulty into the learning process. So it's really exciting to see. This is against the Zerg AI, of course. So ZVZ. Now, as we all know, ZVZs can be very volatile. That's the word I was looking for. But I don't think that I don't think this is really going to be as similar. Like, one thing you'll notice is that this is an early pool for Pac-Man. If I recall, that was a 13? Okay, no, 14. I don't know why I'm thinking about which supply it came down on when, you know, we're currently supply blocked at 14. Who even wants to build extra units? There we go. Finally, the overlord coming out. But, obviously, hatchery first means that there are no Zerglings yet for our AI agent, and there's already Zerglings in production on this side of the map. So, we can learn an important lesson. Some Zerglings versus no Zerglings. In general, pretty good for the Zergling guy. So let's see what is in store for our Zerglings here. And of course it is to send them all the way across the map. They will be seen by the Overlords scouting in the middle. But once again, these Overlords are just... Overlord usage is creep spread as well. Both things that really are huge hallmarks of like signature Zerg play. 6 Zerglings coming over here, and the pool is not done. Is this game just going to be very fast? Well, here are the Zerglings. And the pool is still not done at all, so... they're just kind of killing stuff. How many Zerglings are in production? Do we only have 2 Zerglings? Okay, there's the rest of the Zerglings. But, man, this is just, ooh, tragedy striking at the worst possible moment. Thankfully, it wasn't like an all-in or anything. Pac-Man didn't have a whole lot behind it. If you look at the worker count, 15 to 20, AlphaStar living that drone life. Once again, back to an incredible economy almost instantly. So I actually thought that would have done a lot more damage, but the Zerglings coming in just at the nick of time, even though a couple of drones were lost. It's still a pretty good spot for AlphaStar to be in. Now, what is Pac-Man up to? Looks like he is just playing a very standard, safe game, but on the other side, we've got roaches on the way from AlphaStar. The scouting Zerglings from the AlphaStar AI, chilling out there. The roaches and the queens up in front. Now, I'm imagining that if you were a human Zerg player, maybe you send the roaches out a little bit more quickly, or maybe you're more vigilant with your scouting information. Because if you're noticing, the AI agent has no scouting out on the map except for these 2 Zerglings. They're fighting, they're not scouting, they're not being microed, they're not being controlled. They just straight up lose to the human Zerglings. Humanity triumphs again, or something like that. Also, I'm guessing the AI overlords died, which is pretty surprising to me still. Banelings on the way here for Pac-Man, which are obviously not the greatest units to have against roaches. And now there's an incredible amount of... I'm guessing humanity is about to get kind of killed. There's a couple of spines coming down. These are emergency panic spines. When you need spines in a situation like this, they feel like they take an eternity to build. I just, man, it's going to be very difficult to hold on here. We've got a few Zerglings and Queens, but, I mean, roaches, oh, look at that, morphing the wounded roaches into Ravagers there to try to save them. One roach does die, but will the spines finish is the big question. Ravagers morphing, finishing, already starting to gross file down the spine crawlers, not starting to target them because they are not dealing any damage. They die as soon as they are about to finish morphing. I think this is basically it. Yeah, there's more roaches on the way, more lings on the way. Nice micro man. Oh, the BM. I love it. Nice micro man. Well, indeed it was some nice micro. Congratulations. Humanity, one thing it will always have until they make a BM AI is the ability to emotionally express themselves. So we haven't made the AI to do that just yet. So that was some nice micro man. More importantly, it was a nice ability to build units, you know? So we are just moving through this. So now, I actually maybe should have played this replay as our third replay because we've seen the Terran AI agent play against Terran, Protoss, and so now let's highlight it versus a Zerg, Mr. Perfect. Killing it. We haven't taught AIs how to misspell their user IDs yet either. Or perfect. Perfect. I can't say the umlaut over the O. I'm not that multicultural. But anyway, let's introduce our players. Once again, the map is New Repugnancy. Down in the bottom left in the red is the Hope of Humanity. Our human Zerg player. Sounds weird to say it like that. What is he, Stetman? Excuse me. This is our human Zerg player, Mr. Perfect. He is playing off against the AlphaStar Terran AI agent. Bar. I can't actually tell which are I's and which are L's, so I'm not sure exactly what the naming convention was there. But yeah, it is a barcode. And Mr. Perfect is playing a Zerg as a Zerg versus Terran. Also, you'll notice he is opening hatchery first, so probably just going to live that hatch gas pool life. And on the other side, I think AlphaStar's go-to build so far has just been Cloak, Banshee, Rush. AlphaStar actually put 4 workers in gas there for a second and took one off. I'm not sure if that's a learned behavior, if it's just still figuring things out. But anyway, one of the things you're going to be able to see is human Overlord scouting. You're going to see maybe some human timings that aren't quite crisp, but you're going to see like a goal, right? Especially since I'm assuming these games are played around Masters level, or maybe Diamond level, somewhere around there. Because you can tell if you've watched like pro games, there are still those hallmarks of dedicated build orders, strategic thinking. The APM actually much higher here for Mr. Perfect. I'm going to keep over-exaggerating his name because I have no idea how to pronounce that out. So let's see what the idea is here. At least for the opening part, Reaper Harass seems to be something that the AI has figured out how to do pretty well. I don't know exactly what to expect from the build after the Banshees come through. I would love to see it try something else. Because if you're unfamiliar with the way that these AlphaStar AI agents work, they, okay, yeah, see, chasing that Zergling, not a great idea. I think that's something anybody can do. Is that each AI, it's not like there's one giant AlphaStar, like, big brain conglomerate. It's, there are different agents that all sort of figure things out differently for themselves. And so sometimes you'll have an agent that figures out, hey, tank pushes are really good, just as it evolves, as it learns. And sometimes you'll have an agent that figures out, like this one, that Banshees are really good. And so this is the Banshee AI. This is probably what you're going to see every single game. So yeah, 2 gas, Expo obviously up and running, and Banshees are on the way. On the other side, this is a pretty quick third hatchery. I wouldn't say extremely quick or anything, but the macro has been the real difficulty for our human players. So I don't know where the units are yet. He is just only macroing so far. I don't think we have. Where are the aggressive? Okay, yeah, there's a couple of circling. Oh no, oh, barely misses getting that second SCV. So yeah, not actually that damage done. Overlord's heading out. And yeah, there's basically no army for either player, but specifically for Mr. Perfect. He does have decent information with the Overlord. The Hellions have not been set out on the map yet. If he knows this is AlphaStar, then you're going to know to expect Banshees almost automatically. Evolution Chamber coming down, Bangling next, more Zerglings on the way. The creep spread coming through. Picking off an SCV, that's a nice way to stop it from scouting or building anything outside there. But it does reveal the Banshee, and so using the Banshee for high ground vision to kill off this Overlord, it's nice. But what is also going to be nice is a Cloak Banshee coming through. So no spores, okay, the spores being constructed. There's one at the front, and we already have a couple of spores back here. But, I was talking about AlphaStar actually oversaturating. Looks like the Zerg player a little bit oversaturated here as well. Let's see what this Banshee, okay, I'm not sure you need to cloak the Banshee right there. Actually, that means the Banshee is going to run out of energy by the time it hits these bases. So, first one coming through, obviously it's kind of a weird spot to put the Spore Crawler in, but let's see how much damage these Banshees get. The Spore Crawlers are not in perfect positions, but they're good enough. And that Queen will be able to take that down. Banshee number 2 now coming down here. Did have to cloak, like I said, so it won't be able to cloak here, which is kind of the biggest thing that keeps these Banshees alive and control. It's just not that great. So now, obviously, I would say that the Zerg player is just probably in a really great spot as long as he doesn't just totally die to these Hellions coming through. I'm going to start to scout the Hellions as they step on the creep over. Aww. And we've got Hydras already on the way, so wow, we are moving straight up the tech path. 7 Overlords in production, so obviously being a supply blocked sucks. That's what both players are right now, as they will not be able to build any more units. And finally now being unsupply blocked. This Baneling is actually getting a connection with the first couple of Hellions. Not really what I would have expected. This Banshee actually is getting the damage done. It needs to move away from the detection. Ugh, no, goes down again. Banshee, or the Hellions coming through, and actually did get in and kill quite a few drones, but I don't think they'll get much farther. The worker count actually it's a lead for our Terran agent, who has actually evenly saturated all the bases perfectly this time. So congratulations, you figured it out. Oh, the cloak! As soon as he sees the Hydras, sniping the drones, so no hatcheries for you just yet. Where are the queens? Yeah, the queens of the Zerg. Never forget. Well, they're all out front, and so really there's nothing here in the main. Is there really no queen in the main? You gotta inject that hatchery, my dude. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the level is here, but obviously it is not Grandmaster, that's what I'm pointing out. So more Hydras popping out for Queen's return, inject the hatchery, and are able to defend against the Banshee. But a third base is coming up. There's a lot of bio on the ground. Do we have lurkers yet? No. That is still a Hydraless den, so. Getting lots of Hydras. In general, you don't really see Hydras versus Terran too much. Because they died to everything. They died to siege tanks, they died to stim marines. Yeah, so huge stim bio ball coming across the map. Note there's no support from this. No medevacs. Why would you need medevacs? What are medevacs gonna do? You can stim these guys as much as you want. I'm glad that they figured out that they don't need to stim when they are just moving around. Beautiful position here on the ramp. Finally, the Hydras coming forward. The Banelings are not going to be able to connect, especially not off creep. Another Banshee getting taken out. I thought I saw another one, but I'm guessing I am mistaken. And yeah, you do need to build healer boys. There are a couple more coming out. Where are we getting those from? Where's the starport? Did I just miss it? Okay, there it is. 2 at a time. Getting the Healy boys out. Again, this Banshee harass. This is actually crazy how good this has been. And wow, the Banshee lives to survive another day. This is such a scary army, though. If you just look at the army supply, 121 to 39. Something tells you don't even need to teach those things. The macro for our Zerg player is still pretty lacking. It's what we call lacro, not macro. I couldn't do that. Mr. Perfect has to see this. He's morphing 30 Banelings. That is so many Banelings. They are all being sniped down instantly. Will they be allowed to finish morphing? Oh no, they're gonna pop. Oh no, all the Banelings explode immediately. That focus fire on the Banelings was insane. Return to game. Wow, that is. Oh. That was monstrous. That focus fire. How does he do it? It's crazy. Okay, so we've been through 4 replays so far. We're going to be getting into our 5th replay coming up in just a second. This is a Terran player called Nordskal versus the AlphaStar Terran AI agent. And without further ado, let's head out onto Cyber Forest. Introduce our human player playing Terran, as all good humans should. Nordskal will be playing in the red in the bottom, and in the top of the blue is our Terran AI agent for AlphaStar. I still can't get over focusing down the Banelings like that. When you have like 20 Banelings hatch in your face, like I don't know. Because obviously, I think the thing with StarCraft that makes making an AI agent for it so difficult is that, like, there's obviously things that computers can do that humans cannot. So, like, for instance, if you're a human player and you got to focus down Banelings, at no point do you know the HP of a Baneling, right? You're not going to click on it and be like, okay, my Marines are going to focus this Baneling just until it dies. You see it getting low, and you're like, okay, I can retarget some of my other Marines. So you're not gonna focus fire like perfectly immediately, right? Maybe if you're Beyond, then you can target down like single Banelings or 2, 3, 4. But when you watch a player like Beyond or any like amazing Terran player in like GSL or whatever, whoops, forgot to change the scene. It's amazing when they do it. And the reason it's amazing is because it looks cool, It's very difficult to do. And so when you see it, you're just like, this is a display of a high level of human skill. Now, obviously, when you watch an AI agent do it, the instinct I think that our human brains have is to think that the computer is cheating, and that it must be doing something that humans cannot do. And I'm not sure why it feels that way. It's like a weird psychological effect. The bias is. Goodbye, scouting SCV. But it's yeah, it was actually still very impressive. The focus fire on those banelings in the last game, very good. Let's talk about this game though. We started off with a TVT. We're getting back into a TVT. This is Nordskal. I'm guessing from Norway. Heia Norge, as they would say, as opposed to Heia Sverige, which is not what we're saying in this game, because this is Nordskal. Or is it Njord? I can't pronounce the J very well. But anyway, yeah, Terran versus Terran. We saw the Banshee play every game from our Terran agent, so I'm guessing we're going straight back into it. The 1-1-1. The agent. This is actually a lot like the human way that you know, you learn. You figure out one build that works really well for you. And I've had some pretty funny conversations with players that are very new at the game. When they're first learning, you know, it takes some time to learn what all the different units do, what all the different like buildings do. So you got to get over that hump, right? And so I'll have players that are just like, yeah, I really like the Reapers, so I just build the Reapers. And then you watch them play, and they just build a lot of Reapers. And I don't blame them. Like, you find something you think is cool and you do it. Now, obviously, that's not a great strategy against most people because Reapers aren't that great. But if you look at what the AlphaStar agent is doing, it's just like, well, the Reapers are good early game, the Hellions are good early game, so we build the Reapers and the Hellions. And you know, it's hard to, you know, fault that thinking. Obviously, maybe it's not, you know, super great, but you look down at our Terran players base and you're just like, okay, well, you know, clearly this makes sense. You set up a wall at the top of your ramp. Marines are going to be maybe a little bit more versatile and transition better. Back at home, what are we getting? We're getting tanks and Marines, because tanks and Marines are what our human mind thinks of as a great composition, whereas the AI wants to get as high tech as possible, as quickly as possible. I see what you're doing there. Trying to figure out what the different hallmarks are of the different TVTs that we've seen. At least comparing this to the first one of the day, faster third command center. More of a focus on bio from our human player, of course. And let's find out how he deals with his Banshee, because he hasn't really gotten a whole lot of good scouting information. So he might not know exactly where this is coming from. I love that our AI agent has figured out, okay, well, you send the Banshee along the edges of the map, and then it'll hit from a good angle. Well, here we go, cloaking up, stopping that command center from being finished just barely at the end. Knows that it should probably focus that down, and then, you know, thankfully there is a Raven, but unthankfully there are no Vikings, so this is just going to be Marines. They're going to try to target this down. Can we get back there for the lock-on from that Cyclone? The answer is no. We cannot. Oh, there's the lock-on. It flies in range and then dies. So, I don't know about that move. But we have another Banshee over here. I'm trying to keep pointing all of this out, but there's a lot going on. I'm a caster, I'm not an observer, guys. Starting to construct the ring of turrets, something that is also kind of iconic that AlphaStar does. It builds turret rings quite quite heavily. Not that it's a bad idea to have a turret there, you know, you just don't want to waste money doing something that you don't immediately need to do. So this is that early game army, which to AlphaStar I imagine it thinks is pretty strong. Unfortunately, I don't believe it will be very strong at all. Siege tanks exist. Obviously, kind of kill all of this stuff. One thing that the AlphaStar agent or AI agents used to do a lot of is that they would build like planetary fortresses in their natural expansion, because it's like, well, the planetary kills stuff. Unfortunately, that's kind of bad because you need mules in the economy. Kind of ships passing in the night here as Nordskull bypasses this very mobile Reaper Hellion army. And this is scary. I mean, there's stim bio, there's tanks. I think this base just straight up dies, right? Yeah. Does he actually have stim for these? I guess not, actually. Stim's not done. Should have looked at that. But the base is completely ravaged. The workers are sent away. The base is lifted. It's going to come back down here, but I don't know if that's safe. Stim will be done eventually, so definitely something to keep an eye on. It lands, it dies. Yeah, see, that's the confusing thing. Obviously, that was going to happen. We know that just from our human experience, but at the same time, this army across the map not able to do anything. It's going to run up on the first tank, but tries. There's a lot more defending than just one, so I don't know if that's the best option. I mean, this is the best that we've seen a human player do against the AIs today. Nordskull regrouping his forces, getting a fourth base. There's a fourth base or a third base. Wait, is he getting a fourth base? No, just getting a third base. Okay. Sorry. Thinking that there was one there, but it was an army blob. The army blob is no joke here for Nordskull. Especially the siege tanks seem to be something that the AlphaStar agent is not completely figured out how to deal with. Base about halfway through. Lots of Vikings in the air. I'm not sure what triggered the response to build Vikings. Maybe this is just something the agent always does. But it also could be to target down the Raven and then let the Banshees maybe do a little bit more work. Here we go, stimming forward. It's a lot of damage, but the tank gets, oh my god. Well, okay, everything died there. Well, now it's 25 army to 50. I don't know how close this is going to be. Even the landed Vikings. This is what's really weird. Obviously, as a human player, you would never use landed Vikings just as part of your army. But here, they're just so versatile, or so, I guess, beefy, too. They're just going to go kill everything. I think this is just going to be a autopilot victory for our AlphaStar AI. You could have an AI to do this for the AI. I'm pretty sure it can still pull it out. I really don't get this game any longer. Oh, the heartbreak. Nordskull. Oh, you feel, right? You feel for it. I guess that's something only one of our players could do, feel. Yeah, I guess he doesn't get to play that game anymore, which is kind of like what he said. So that's 5 games that we've done. We've seen some consistency from the AlphaStar AI, and currently humanity is 0 for 5. We've got a bunch more replays coming up, but I'm going to take a quick break to get a drink, and then I'll be back in about 3 to 4 minutes with a few more AlphaStar AI replays. So thanks for watching. Be right back with more AlphaStar analysis. All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope everything has been working well. Up until this point, we've seen a couple of consistent things, mostly just Banshees winning games for our StarCraft AI agent from AlphaStar. We're going to move on to another game. This is going to be a Zerg human player against the Zerg AlphaStar AI agent. So the map is New Repugnancy, which we're going to see quite a bit because it's one of the maps that the AI is very familiar with. So let's get into game number 6 of the day. Senya is our red Zerg player, who is, of course, a human being. Love the U2 spam. And then on the other side, our blue Zerg player is the AlphaStar Zerg AI agent. Now this is a ZVZ, and we've already seen one ZVZ previously. And one of the things that we noticed is that AlphaStar does not get Zerglings very quickly. So I'm thinking you 13-12 this guy is going to be feeling bad. That's not what we're seeing this time. I believe that was, yeah, 16-16. Is that what we're seeing? Senya probably around a Masters level player. That's what most of our players have been so far. The Overlord scouting patterns seem to be pretty mirrored. And the interesting thing about the AIs is that because they are not programmed with preconceived bias, they are learning how to do things from seeing what human players do. So I'm actually curious about that statement. I haven't had a chance to really talk with the AlphaStar people, so I'm not sure exactly how weighted the different learning opportunities are. Now, obviously, you can see that the scouting patterns are identical, and I'm wondering if this is just because this is what AlphaStar has figured out independently by comparing its games to, well, its games, or if this is something that it's learned from the experience that it has against human players. Because obviously, if you lose to a build, AlphaStar can just do that build the next game. And if that build loses to another build, then you can just do that other build over and over again to kind of learn the ropes. But like I said earlier, one of the hallmarks is that AlphaStar does not get a lot of Zerglings, okay? So you can see that the army supply is pretty even, but where are the Zerglings? The answer is not at the front. So, gonna lose a drone right off the bat, and boom goes the dynamite. So gets that one. Damage on these lings, and man, these first 6 lings are really gonna get a lot of work done here for Senya. Pretty even game state though, with just a couple less workers for Senya, because maybe you just missed them, or made Zerglings instead. And of course, with the queens popping out, there shouldn't be any more aggressive opportunities here for Senya, so just going to pull back and go back home. I do like the spine crawler, which I'm guessing is being built at the front. Yeah, where is that spine crawler? Oh, Senya building the spine crawler. I'm dumb. There it is. Foreseeing the Roach attack because he did scout the Roach Warren, and this will at least mean that we get the chance to see more of a game than we did the last time we saw AlphaStar play Zerg. It was kind of over, not immediately, but almost immediately. Much higher, or not much higher, but the higher army supply for AlphaStar at this point. The Roaches coming out, and I mean, while there's Roaches on Senya's side, the supply and the macro just a little bit too slow. I think one of the hardest, I mean, you're playing at like a Masters level here, so I feel like at this point you should be pretty good with your macro for the first like 3-4 minutes of the game. When you see the roaches coming, I think we might need to see a few more spines here. Yep, there comes another one being built, and maybe even a third wouldn't be out of the question. DBZ is pretty volatile, but I think if you know what your opponent's going for so far ahead, so far in advance, you should be able to have the appropriate response in time. Now, we'll see if Zerglings are what is in production. Immediate cancel there on that spine, maybe remaking it behind. Yeah, there it is. But wisely enough, AlphaStar realizing, hey, can't get through that first spine, time to pull back and wait for reinforcements. And I wonder what the thought process is here by the AI agent to say, okay, well, what is the critical mass of roaches that I need? Because of course it will be able to calculate what, how much it takes to build the spine, but obviously it's a much more complicated situation. I also love that I can talk about the game from like such a privileged point of place of intelligence, because I can think, okay, what knowledge do I need to break through here? What amount of units? Which units? How quickly do I need the units? Where do they need to come from? Those are all like very high level thought for me, whereas the machine learning from the AI agent, like, oh my goodness, it's got to learn to put the Ravagers in the back, Things that we just sort of take for granted, but obviously are going to take a long time for this AI to learn. Bringing a queen along. Not sure what that was there for, but AlphaStar is turning around. Can't break Senya. Triple spine crawler. Pretty good defense, and I wonder what the impetus is for AlphaStar expanding. Because obviously, for Zerg, you do kind of want to do that. And I think once you've fended off the first push, or you have a strong enough army to defend it, you should probably get that third hatchery. Obviously, I'm not the ZVZ expert. I'm just kind of speaking from general experience. Ooh. Corrosive Bile from Senya to kill an AI Overlord. Can't learn everything. I'm just imagining all of this being said inside Senya's mind. Leaving these Overlords out of the map, they haven't died yet, so I guess that's an improvement over the Overlords that we saw from our last CVZ that died to Queens. More Corrosive Biles coming out, and more. I guess that's Senya kind of realizing, wait a second, I've got a big opportunity to get a little bit of an advantage here. Maybe that makes it a little bit. By sniping these Overlords off. Both players just back rowing right now. I think this is the most even game that we've seen all day. Yeah, I'm pretty confident about that. The last EVZ was not very even. I mean, it was even for like 4 minutes, but then kind of moved on. It's kind of weird that the Queen is the one that finished that Overlord off when the Biles may have been able to. So, yeah, what's coming up next? More Roach Ravager on both sides. Weapons upgrades on the way, but Senya's +1 will finish way ahead of time. So if he wants to just go with this +1, that is absolutely an option. Also, neither player even kind of thinking about expanding at this point. It's a very high tension, high Roach Ravager kind of pressure, but I think that third base would be an excellent way to kind of tell your opponent to come to you. Pushing out and expanding behind it is our human player, Senya. And I think it should be pretty obvious to our human player that, at least from the forces that are out on the map, there's not that much of a threat. Doesn't need to just like pour the entire economy into attacking units immediately. But the Zerglings, that is a great way to deal with Ravagers, maybe not a great way to deal with Roaches, but the Ravagers are all exposed in the front. Senya loses 2 right off the bats. Still 3 there. And now Senya, what are we doing here? Senya is splitting up his army This Roach hit squad is coming around for a flank, I guess. But still, this is not an easy ramp to break up on top with all ranged units at the top of it. So I'm just trying to figure out what the idea is behind this push. Nice, you killed it, limiting some of the creep spread. Finally, our first big engagement. Roach Ravager on Roach Ravager, drilling stuff. I want to see what the vials look like, because obviously this is something that you just have to do a lot of. You can't formulaically just know, okay, at 350 or at 930, I'm supposed to bile here. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to know like the active way to contribute within an individual game environment. So nice oversteer, clearing out the creep. Into PvP when you're aggressive might be a little bit better, but look at this concave. Does be convex, but how good are the vials? That's going to be the big question here. Looks like they are pretty not good. Although some of them do land. Okay, those vials were fantastic. Senya, it's massacred. +2 versus +1 makes a huge difference. And Senya will GG. AlphaStar wins again. Wow. The macro, I think, for the most part, that and the +2 upgrades really kicking in at a strong timing there for AlphaStar. That'll take the first, or I guess the 6th game of the day. Now we are moving on to our 7th. This is going to be between a Protoss human opponent and the Terran AI agent for AlphaStar. Oh, the GLHF from Ploko, who will be our human Protoss player, playing against the Terran AI agent from AlphaStar, who does not GLHF. Okay, there it is. All right, whew. I wonder if it builds that in as like a learned behavior, if that's programmed in. I believe it's programmed, but you know, don't quote me on that. Expecting to see a 1-1-1 once again, going for Cloaked Banshees out of the Terran AI agent from Ploko. Who knows? I would love to see another DT rush. That would make my day. Also, AlphaStar loses workers early, so I think especially if you know it's AlphaStar on the ladder, how can you truly know? You know. Then you can go for early worker harass, and I don't want to say usually, but we've seen it work out. I think 2 times, maybe only once. Maybe I'm imagining the second time. Certainly something that's seemingly meaningless, but you know how the AI in I think it was StarCraft 1, you could like attack a worker and it would freak the AI out, pull all the workers, and yeah, there is exactly what I was talking about. Losing the SCV to a probe, and it might even have to happen again here. Oh no! Returning the favor! That's actually pretty hilarious. The human killed the AI's worker, and then the AI killed the human. Nice. Scout Reaper at 2 minutes. We're a little bit quick on that. I don't want to. The idea is that the Scouting Reaper into maybe 1 Cyclone with some additional Reapers, and then Hellions coming out. But that's if we don't go for the Banshee Rush. And also, it's if the Banshee Rush isn't incredibly effective. All right, there we go. Okay, sorry, just had to take care of a couple of housekeeping issues. Now, the Reaper, but soon the Banshee. And he does get one probe kill. So, if the AI can do it, you can too. Oh, the hop up! He gets it! Into the main, the assassination squad of probes. I don't know if you want to send 4. I'm also not sure if Ploko Ploko is really a Masters player. Does he get it? Does he get it? Oh, he does! Another probe! Goes down. Wow. How do they deal this much damage? It's a Christmas miracle. Ploko Ploko still with the worker lead. Robo coming through. All right. My man. We are really hitting a big explosion here. On the other side, the Banshees are almost guaranteed on the way. You can just smell the Banshees coming. And I'm waiting for it. Show me Banshee. Starting Cloak, obviously. Where's the Banshee? Where's the Banshee? Where's the Banshee? I guess it doesn't have the resources for a Banshee yet. But I don't think there's a way Hellions run through this, certainly. Obviously, there's this other path, but they could reposition to be enough. So at least for now, Ploko Ploko would consider himself to be in an okay spot. Obviously, losing those probes, not a game changer. But he also hasn't done anything yet. He's not going for DTs. I am kind of curious what we are doing with the with the Twilight. Okay, we're getting Blink. I guess that makes a lot of sense. You can see that on the production tab. And how good is your Blink Micro? Because that's certainly a way that either the AI or human player could use to their advantage to get, well, an advantage. Scouting worker, I'm guessing, getting killed off, and here we go. Banshee number 1. Just highlighting the peaceful Protoss village down here. The Banshee probably will hit this. Counts as an enemy unit, but if it skips it, then that's the true mark of... Yeah, okay, so we're seeing it kind of bug out here a little bit. It's like, ah, Cloak, run away. There's a base here, when in reality a human player would probably just run in and start killing probes. Big move out here. It's not even going to be about the Banshee harass. The macro, is it good enough? 51 to 32, Ploko Ploko. I don't know about this. He's gonna try to fight on the high ground. The tank's sieging up in the back. The Stalker's getting blown apart. And that is not the kind of fight you want to fight with the Terran player knocking on your doorstep. Meanwhile, Banshees being cleaned up in the natural, but in the main, still getting damage done. Breaking through the natural expansion, and that's it. Wow. Is that a no GG? Yikes, another win for AlphaStar. That's pretty impressive. I did not know exactly what to expect, but AlphaStar has been killing it, winning every single one of the games so far. Before we start this next game, I need to take a quick minute break, and then we will resume. So don't go anywhere. All right, here we go. So here we go. We're starting things out in the upper left with our red Terran player. Got beat to the punch with the GLHF, a clear indicator of a more manner. Protoss player, who is our AlphaStar agent down in the bottom right. Now, in the upper left, obviously we have a human Terran player, but we haven't gotten a chance to really keep an eye on what is, I would assume, the most experienced AI agent for AlphaStar. That is obviously, Protoss. What was I talking about earlier? Oh yeah, so the different hallmarks of what gives you the ability to win a game. So for the Protoss AI agent, this is, what's the best way to say this? I can say most experienced AI, but keep in mind each AI agent is different. So there are AI agents that are good at like specific builds. There are AI agents that have learned specific like timings and counters, and in the AlphaStar presentation, when the OpenAI researchers introduced AlphaStar, what they were able to do is they showed off multiple different AI agents that were all Protoss, but they had all learned how to play the game differently. So in certain situations, they would be more familiarized with different build orders, different responses, how to deal with things, or they wouldn't be, different weaknesses there as well. But I don't know what the case is for this one at hand. In general, what the Protoss agent would do is it would, what do you say? It would build Blink Stalkers a lot, and then micro them to infinity and beyond, It would also have a really hard time dealing with drops, say, for instance. But I'm guessing both of those have been fixed, and this is going to be a much different experience here. Scouting Reaper coming in through. Man, after watching so many Terran AI games, I automatically kind of expect the human player to kind of do what the AI player did, because honestly, there weren't that many differences. Same kind of situation where the Reaper is able to get more kills than I think I would expect from like a pro game. Oh, tried to focus down the probe, but was not able to. So the Reaper's gone. Actually, losing your opening Reaper is pretty bad because it makes you like so much more vulnerable to your opponent taking a different route than you expect. So our human player is actually just building Marines at this point, whereas our OpenAI or AlphaStar player is actually starting to put on a little bit of pressure here, if I say so myself. Obviously, a couple of adepts are... Oh, wow, that's a kill on a mule. That's going to be annoying. Nice raise on the depots so that these adepts are not going to be able to get through. But, it's only 4 Marines. Obviously, they're coming out 2 at a time, but still, the adepts are piling on. 3 adepts and an oracle. This is starting to get down to Scary Town, especially with one of those Marines getting picked off. Antilco just doesn't have a whole lot here. No okay, he does have a Widow Mine. So let's see how well this Widow Mine works out. We saw the Widow Mine lock on there, but okay. Wow, that is that's one way to lose a game. You just don't foresee the adepts coming. That's strange. I definitely would not have expected that. So let's put the shoe on the other foot. Let's go with a Protoss human opponent versus a Terran AI agent. GL! There's no HFs allowed here. And, oh, the GLHF emoji. Nice! Wow, I'm so impressed. The AI learning how to type a different greeting. Is there no end to the different skills? that AI can learn. Anyway, for the opening builds, this is going, or the opening introductions. This is our Terran AI agent from AlphaStar versus a Protoss human player named Trust. Now, at least for the time being, we've seen pretty much one build and one build only from our Terran AI, and that is that the 111 into Banshees. Sorry. We also have seen a kind of a slowness to get up to 3 bases and just really focusing on that 2 base pressure. Now, let's see, microing the probe, and boom goes the dynamite, picking off one of the early SCVs. Now, that's something that you would almost never see in a pro game. At Masters level, I guess maybe. But yeah, it's one of the ways that human players have kind of found to kind of poke at their opponent early. Say, what are you up to? And okay, see, this is really weird because you just lost one, and now you're having to delay again. He's just gonna lose this SCV, right? It just dies. Yeah, so that's 2 SCV kills with a probe, and already, if you're a human player, you should start to be thinking, wait a second, that's not the way most of my games go. You know, we haven't seen any games where the AI agent has to deal with really hardcore cheese, you know? Something like, you know, either a 1-base play or proxy tech or something like that. So I'm hoping we get at least one of the replays that shows us kind of what that looks like. Because these have all been pretty straight up games. I mean, I'm sure that there are ways that you can kind of abuse the AI. At least my human brain tells me that because I'm used to playing versus, you know, like regular AI. But oh wow, getting 1 probe in the midst of everything. Still nice Reaper control here by our AI. Gets out right as the Adept shows up and lives to scout another day with, of course, more Reaper buddies. In general, we've actually seen quite a focus on heavy Reaper play from AlphaStar. Oh, running into another probe, but doesn't actually turn around to try to snipe it. Just getting here into the main, and another probe going down. Great Reaper control. The micro is actually pretty remarkable, I would say. I mean, this is not something that you just get for free. But, oh my goodness, he just barely got out of range of that Adept. That's crazy. Okay. I mean, maybe I'm reading a little bit into it, but that's still pretty impressive. Cyclone coming out. And this isn't just like a straight Banshee rush. This is building the Cyclone, and then we're going to build the starport, and then we're going to get Banshees out of that starport. You know, if everything goes according to plan. One of the Reapers gets taken out. There's another Reaper though, and getting caught up a little bit on the workers, but oh, there it is. The last Reaper extinguished. Are there more Reapers on the map? I don't think so. Okay, so the builds do vary from game to game. It's not like we see the same like 4 or 5 Reapers that we had out of our previous Terran game. Although I think that was a TVT, not a TVP. Gatekeeper Adepts at the entrance. Oh, and they do actually get all the way up into the main. The Shade, for obvious reasons, would finish, but usually there's at least something to block them from getting that Shade Scout. On the other side, what is this? Okay, it's just a pylon. Never mind. I thought it was going to be something much more scary. Robo at the front. I don't think it's rocket science to see a Robo, at least at this timing, especially if you just want some extra observer vision. Oh wow, he actually did get the Shade there. Gets 1 SCV, and I think that's about it. But already we're starting to see missile turrets here, maybe even, okay, well these cyclones. Yeah, getting a little bit glitched out. But there are missile turrets exactly where you would expect them to be. One in the mineral line, one at the natural. So none of that looks out of the ordinary. The placement's not weird. The Banshees are finally out, though. And actually, hyperflight rotors on the way. Okay. So this is not something that at least I think I haven't seen. Running into the tank fire. Ooh, that's not what you wanted to have happen. A couple of those tank hits happening. The scouting pylon, which I thought was going to be something devious and dastardly, actually just scouting for this Banshee. So what is there back at home to defend? Actually, nothing. Oh no, he's going to have to pull the stalkers all the way back across the map to deal with this. Thankfully, there's a shield battery. But, I mean, obviously that's not going to kill the Banshee. Now, where's the cloak? Did it skip cloak and go for... Yeah, wow. It skipped cloak and went for hyperflight rotors first. Which is... I mean, I would consider that backwards. Usually you see the cloak first. It saves the first couple of Banshees, and then you're able to use the hyperflight rotors. But obviously, if you don't have any Banshees, the cloak is pretty useless. A recall coming through, and that's once again just to deal with this Banshee. Blink in the air, blink, and... Okay, no, he blinked all of them, so he doesn't have any more to catch it. There it is. As soon as that blinks off cooldown, the Banshee's off cooldown. Or on cooldown, I guess. Permanently. I'm going to put you on cooldown permanently. Stalkers getting back out onto the map, rather. And actually, let's see if they're able to stop this third from coming up. The third is at least harassed. But what's there to deal with the Banshee? Let's see if he catches it on this pylon scout. This pylon has actually been worth its weight in, I guess, pylon, whatever it's made out of, crystals. Siege tank still stopping these stalkers from, actually doing all that much. The Banshee delayed for a second, but now coming back in again. And this time it has cloak, keep in mind. So it's going to take more than just recalling stalkers to deal with it. Even with a shield battery, that's not a perfect way to deal with the Banshee. And of course, with cloak, it is now much more potent. Is there actually even any detection? I think not. Oh my goodness, this is just such a tragedy. Finally, the observer getting there. But it's actually not following. Oh no! Look at this micro, look at the control. That's actually really impressive. So the Banshee really throwing trust off of his game. I think that's safe to say. But, in my brain, I keep thinking, well, it's only one Banshee, right? There are hyperflight rotors, so I'm guessing that eventually these will be joined by more Banshees, and then there'll be a pretty potent attack force. Now let's see, is it only one SCV? Oh, he actually pulls a bunch of SCVs, repairs the Banshees very quickly, and then is going to return them back out there on the field. Let's see, does he have more? Yeah, so he's going to bring 3 Banshees together here. They do have hyperflight rotors, so just keep that in mind. Oh, he's going to catch the Banshee. Wow, instant cloak. And now let's see the blink up into the main. Oh, he's actually not going to blink into the main. I think he saw the Banshee, or realized that the Banshee had run by. And now he's like, well, actually, okay, there is a cannon, but I think you'd want it out here, right? Just maybe my thought. But certainly this is going to be a good way to snipe this expansion from coming down. There's a tank on the high ground, but he will be able to blink onto the tank. He wants to go for it. Oh, blinks away after sniping that command center. It's being built on location. Obviously, that is tragic. Recalling just the observer back home to try to deal with these hyperflight rotor Banshees. And they're not stopping. There's another one being built and on the way. Just need to decloak them. The concept that cloak takes energy is still not something that AlphaStar has really mastered. I wonder if AlphaStar knows to float their main command center down if they lose their natural command center. Picking off one of the pylons. Where is that detection? I guess it doesn't matter when they're not cloaked. Still, look at the control on these Banshees. They're actually doing remarkably well. Juggling the aggro. What is this? Okay, finally, justice being served. One of those Banshees getting taken off. They're so fast with hyperflight rotors. It doesn't make sense. But hey, we're already maxed out, and one thing that has not faltered no matter what race, no matter what build order the AI agents go for, it's just the macro is so strong. At least against the caliber of player that the AI is playing against. So let's see, I mean, this is just a bunch of bio. They do have stim, they do have combat shield, and they do have a ton of damage. Now, crucially enough, there's no medevac in this bio force, so once its stims runs out, that's it. But it's still good enough to deal with that, and oh, by the way, in the back, the Banshee hitting the Twilight Council. But I think it's more about the fight in the front. I mean, that much stim is just so much damage. Now, is there any medevacs? I don't think so. I think it's just Banshees, right? So one of them's going to town there. We've got another one joining it, but if that one flies right through the cannon and dies. Eventually, this bio is not going to be that great. But the tank line, oh my gosh. Storm on the tank, storm on the bio, gets through the front lines. The back line of tanks is immense. Everything Protoss is dying, and it's 100 army supply to just 30. Again, the macro. Really a huge saving grace. Oh no, losing the Immortal here, and yeah, 6 army supply. I think that's gonna do it. Trust basically has nothing left. And man, all it took was one maxed out push, and AlphaStar killing it. Also did lose that Twilight Council, the one Banshee in the back, so that definitely feels pretty bad. I think it's just unsiege and go. Yeah, there's the unsiege. Zealots running forward, Zealots on top of the tanks, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The Banshee's coming through to help out, and yeah, the tank line survives. There's more reinforcements moving forward. I think Trust is done. WP, dropping the well played. And that is going to do it. So, wow. Actually, not a terrible, game from our human player, but I mean, he didn't really know how to deal with the cloaked Banshees and wasn't able to put on really much pressure. He did, to his credit, snipe that third command center, so I mean that's pretty good. But aside from that, yeah, really not a whole lot, nothing really remarkable. So now let's move into another game. This one's going to be a TVT between a Blue Barcode player, whose name is literally Blue Barcode, and AlphaStar. Now, this will be interesting because it's 2 Terran Barcode players playing against each other. Guessing the red is the human and the blue is the AlphaStar, but I almost promise you will be able to tell by their build orders. Okay. I just thought we'd be able to maybe tell something. No. Those are my achievements. Whoops. I forgot that I had those bound to different hotkeys. Okay, so this is game number 8, I believe, if I'm keeping track of everything. So I had to make a note of that. And, at least for the most part, I don't think that we've seen almost any variation. Okay, so one of the variations that we saw from AlphaStar's Terran is that it went for hyperflight rotors first and then cloak second. I don't think that's the way you're supposed to play, but hey, what do I know? It won the game, so can we really critique it? Probably not. APM for AlphaStar is actually usually pretty low early because it's not like, spamming. Whereas if you see the human APM, usually that's very high early, even when there's nothing to do with it. Kind of an interesting distinction, I'll call it that. Both players just teching up basically identical builds. Which is really interesting because you're seeing an AI agent execute a human build order. I mean, you would say it's a human build order. Humans trying to min-max just as much as the AI, but obviously it occurs in different ways. So let's see what the expansion timing is like. Expansion coming down just now at about 2:30 for our red Terran player, and for a blue Terran player, obviously going up to starport. So almost certainly this is the AlphaStar agent, and especially once it starts making those Banshees, we'll certainly know that even more. Expansion about halfway done. There's no Reaper Scout, importantly enough. These are, I guess, what you'd call defensive units. Usually you would see... this is something that we actually saw, I think, quite a bit, even most recently at, I think, like, Asus ROG. Pretty standard 3... Well, not standard, but, like, yeah, 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion. And then you go with it. And you try to, like... Excuse me, get some good grenade bounces. You can actually, like... put up quite a strong fight, even just right now. Not late on the gases, but both of the gases finishing up, instantly saturated. And where are we putting our resources as the hope of humanity? A Raven coming through. So in theory, the Raven would do pretty well against these Banshees when they come out, especially once Cloak is done. But I'm not sure exactly what the coordination is going to be like. Obviously, you want to kind of hit with the Banshee first to draw the defenses out of position, or vice versa, and then hit with the other army. But this is the defense. I think this is pretty rock solid against almost anything that would come up here. And let's find out what this Banshee can do. Cloak is done. There's no detection out here. There is a Raven, so keep that in mind. But this should be a perfect counter to the Banshee. Yeah. Still several workers going down, but I think the real value is that the Banshee is shut down. So let's see if we see more and more and more Banshee production. Oh, a Raven coming through for AlphaStar now. So Banshee number 2, I can't imagine this would actually do almost anything. I think it's just going to fly in and die just as quickly? Question mark? I guess we'll find out. Saying, okay, well, if the defenses are in the natural, let's hit the main. Unfortunately, there's a second Raven with a second Cyclone, perfectly positioned to snipe this off. So, wow. All right, finally, the hope for humanity kicking in. Perfect defense against all of these Cyclones, or not Cyclones, Banshees coming through. And so I think that's actually the first game that we've cast today where the human player is able to deftly deflect the opening gambit from AlphaStar. Now, the Raven harass, not something, I guess that's out of the ordinary. You'd never see Raven harass and be like, that's a computer player, right? But it's still able to happen. We just haven't seen it, I guess, precisely yet. Hesitating, now coming through, queuing up the actions. I'm not sure. Watch it drop an auto turret there and like harass a non-existent unit or why. Okay, it's not that dumb. I keep hoping that the computer will do dumb things so that I can feel better about being a human, but it's actually pretty darn smart. Third base coming up faster than the human opponent. So let's see where the second auto turret comes down. There it is. These are actually getting quite a bit of damage done. A little bit of awkward target firing there, but the second one specifically, wow. That is pretty remarkable. And even though the Vikings will be able to push this away, what's the follow-up here? I think the follow-up is just get another base. There are still more Banshees in production. I question whether or not those will be used offensively. Another one dying right there as it is perfectly picked off. But even if you just look at the workers, it's 53 to 32. The army supply might be slightly in our Red Terran players' favor. But this is still, I mean, very, very strong army. Now let's see what the positioning is like, because the positioning for our blue army is not that great. It's perfectly spread out and positioned in a natural expansion, but when it comes to the third base, this is scary. Yeah, usually you want to see those Liberators on top of these tanks. Nice interference matrix helping take this tank out, and it does die. The lock-on's picking off Marines little bit by little bit. Liberators, and this third base is immediately shut down. Meanwhile, keep in mind, look at that auto turret harass and Banshee harass happening at the same time. AlphaStar starting to pick apart our human opponent, who's overpressing, overextending into the siege tank fire, losing everything. And that is a GG coming out. AlphaStar wins again. I don't think we've seen one human victory today. If I'm incorrect about that, let me know in chat, but that's pretty impressive. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was our 10th replay. And that means I'm going to take a couple of minutes before we come back with our next replay, which will be another TVT. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with 10 more replays of AlphaStar. Thanks for watching. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're getting into our 11th replay of the day, currently 10-0 for AlphaStar. So let's get into this one. We are Moving down, this is Kaczynski, our red Terran player representing humanity versus our blue Terran AlphaStar. All caps, I love it. But anyway, let me see if I can't do a couple of minor adjustments. Moving the logo, and then I also want to illustrate that we are 10-0 for AlphaStar so far. Whoops, sorry, I was just trying to change the score, and there it is. So, yeah, there it is. All right, 10-0 for AlphaStar. That is pretty impressive. That's definitely not exactly what I expected, but I think that we've seen some major flaws from our human players, but this is the first time where we are going to get a chance to see, ooh, Marauder Rush. I love it. Okay, so this is really cool because this is not like a Reaper Rush where maybe you can micro your way out of it, or SCVs can be pulled. This just straight up just walks up and domes you. Like, this is not something that you can practice against necessarily as an AI because you're just going to face this so rarely. And we're just going to have tons of big, tanky, beefy boys. Concussion grenades, just about to finish. Or concussive shells. I don't know why I called them grenades. They're not grenades. They're shells! Here we go. We're going with our first three. Number 4 and 5 pop it up here too. We can build bunkers if we want, and nothing is going to stop these tanky boys. Will they be able to break up the ramp? I think the answer is yes, pretty emphatically. One of the SCVs does get picked off, and yeah, nothing can fight these. Wow. Is AlphaStar just straight up dead? I want to say yes, because we haven't seen AlphaStar win. Oh, he actually bounced the Marauder over the wall there. That's a little bit cute. But yeah, I think everything just dies here. Honestly, the Banshee's not even going to come out in time. So he's going to be forced to pull the boys. And obviously this is very easy micro. You just keep center stepping back little bit by little bit. Oh, actually, one of the Marauders does get surrounded and picked off. But, I mean, there's plenty more Marauders where this came from. Being produced 2 at a time, massive SCV losses. But even still, the worker count is remarkably even. Although finally, obviously, it's going to start to... I love how it raises the depots, even though it's not a wall. Yeah, and 2 at a time, they're coming up. The Banshee coming out means that, like, eventually this will get taken or cleaned up. And I actually thought this would be incredibly powerful. It did kill off quite a few workers. Obviously, 12 workers from 22 is not the number that you want to have. But AlphaStar, what are you going to do? This is the first time that we've ever really seen AlphaStar, like, take a major hit. Honestly, maybe you just build Marines out of these things. He's going to try to go in with 2 kind of stealth Marauders. These are the SEAL Team 6 Marauders. I don't know if this is necessary. I honestly think you just keep them in the natural expansion. Deny the Expo. Now they're both going to die for free, so obviously that's not good. And there isn't really anything back at home to defend. Yeah, there's actually basically nothing. It says that Kaczynski has 8 army supply. Where? Where is that 8 army supply? Oh, okay, we found a little bit of it. I'm waiting. Okay, we found more. But basically, I'm just trying to say there's not a lot on the other side. Is there a cloak for these? Yes, so Cloak did finish researching. They didn't automatically cloak the Banshees like we saw from some of our earlier games. The Barracks actually flying back will scout the Banshees, so I guess that's good. And the Raven's out just in the nick of time to deal with that. Oh, the powers of humanity really kicking in here. So there's our double lock-ons, trying to focus down the Cyclones, and they do. But I mean, right as both Banshees explode simultaneously. So really, really good control. Great defense here by our red Terran player Kaczynski, who's actually going to double expand off the back of this. Wow, that's pretty impressive. This is the best that we've seen humanity do all day long. After 10 games of watching AI smack them down in all sorts of different matchups, not every matchup, but most of them. And now, all of a sudden, things seem to be working out pretty well for Kaczynski. He's just got to keep it up. That's the struggle. There's the lock on. Can he keep locked on long enough? Yes. There it is, another Banshee taken out. Right as I say that, another one leaves the base. And currently, this is just one base. Keep in mind. Why is there a Widow Mine here? That's a little bit weird. I have not seen AlphaStar make Widow Mines yet today, so that's the first one for me. You can really see as soon as AlphaStar gets thrown off, I guess this would be true for most players, the whole strategy is kind of thrown out the window. It's defenestrated. That's your word for the day. It means to throw out the window. Because normally we just see Banshee, 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 but now they've just been pushed back so easily. Even this one's just going to get locked on, and boom goes the dynamite. There it is, flawless defense there, but oh no, more STVs getting taken out. But even still, the worker lead goes to Kaczynski, the army lead goes to Kaczynski. Is killing it. At least from what I can see. To Zertin in chat, I don't think we have cast your match yet, but I'll try to skip forward. And also letting you know that it's been covered by DeepMind too. So thanks to my my Afrika chat bot AI for answering those questions. Just me from there. But we're finally gonna try to save the add-ons, guys. The Marine, he's here. He might be able to do it. Honestly, I just keep checking the mineral lines to see if they've to see if there's Banshees there. I'm so like conditioned, I guess, to just check for Banshees all the time. But I guess maybe the AI is double quotes learning that Banshees are not working out, so it's time to switch it up a little bit. But honestly, this is an incredibly diverse, powerful army. Kaczynski's in a fantastic position, and AlphaStar has not tried to expand until now. It built the CC in the main, and is just now floating it out. Has a Widow Mine for defense. Man, look at this. Once again, almost flawless defense here. Flying the Air Force back to defend. And wait, why doesn't he just fly back here and kill it? Because he's waiting for the auto turret to time out. So. Auto turret dies, so does the Raven. I love the spread on Marines here. 1, 2, 3, and then a fourth one down here. This is actually pretty remarkable that Kaczynski is doing so much better than every other Terran player, every other human player. Now we've seen another Banshee getting sniped off here, so man, just not having it at all. Should be pointed out that this player is substantially better than our other players as far as their rank. Apparently, they are number 161 GM, so obviously that's quite high, and so you would expect them to be able to deal with most of the things that could be thrown their way. Macro also looking incredibly on point, doubling up their opponent's army supply. Another Cloak Banshee comes in, it maybe kills 1 or 2 workers, and then will be getting taken out almost immediately. And yeah, there it is. Another Banshee down. Third base just now being attempted to be, attempting to be established. There it is. But I think Kaczynski just runs across the map and kills him, right? I love the scouting Marines just trying to figure out, wait a second, where do I need to go? The answer is, okay, well, maybe there. Or not there, as the case may be. Another Banshee out here. Let's see how well this missile turret will protect it. The one Marine stopping. The Banshee dead in its tracks. Oh no! The other one turns around to try to help, and I think maybe Kaczynski's okay if that one gets through because, okay, the tanks are coming through. Look at that! The interference matrix is coming down immediately. And honestly, with energy still on these Ravens, drop auto turrets down here. Although you don't want to get in range of the siege turret, obviously. 안녕하세요, Karenin. That's me. I love the Viking flower. Never change. Did one of the Vikings get over here? Or the Banshees? I think, yeah, here it is. Okay. Will it stop to fire at the Marine? The answer is no. It cloaks to defend itself. The SCV that was coming down here to build, I guess anything, is going to be stopped. You also can't expand down here. This expansion's been canceled. Kaczynski's in a fabulous spot. I'd be very surprised if Kaczynski loses from here. And actually, oh my goodness, it's already so damaged. Can't even land there. AlphaStar, what do you do when your landing zone is blocked? When one Marine could go all the way. Sieging forward. I love the siege crawl here. This is something we also have not seen AlphaStar really do. I love this one Marine down here. Terrorizing AlphaStar. The double Banshee response. Sick. I'm also trying to keep an eye on these Banshees that are out on the map, but I'm not doing a very good job of that. I love just trying to leapfrog forward and tank. I think AlphaStar is just going to keep hemorrhaging units to them. You can see that they have sieged up the siege line, but they haven't been able to break the Viking flower. So, honestly, this is super impressive. Inching forward, picking off tank after tank, sieging, unsieging. The vigilance from Kaczynski. Usually watch global channels on a frigate, seems. I mean, I would expect most people to do that as global viewers. Coming forward, look at the interference matrix. Oh, it's so immediate, so perfect. And now with Liberators being added in, I don't know if this is where those Banshees are going to find their success. Look at the Liberator crawl. Oh, it's so punishing. Viking count. See, who has higher Viking numbers? I guess AlphaStar is actually higher on the Viking count. Even with the interference matrix, I don't think that's really going to change anything. The Vikings survive, and finally, Kaczynski might be getting pushed back a little bit. The only problem is that, as you can see down here, the base is getting pushed back. There's a bunch of expansions, maxed out. I think Kaczynski, it might be time to unsiege and go, my man. You're gonna have to pull back here because finally AlphaStar has been able to fix this base, or I guess retake it if you want to call it that, using correct English. Time for Kaczynski to hit that F2 button and run across the map. I'm calling it. Let's go. It's time. If you look at the compositions of both of these armies, like, we've got Yamato cannon on the way. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna go BCs. I love the chase of the Banshees. Play Ride of the Valkyries here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, the lock on. Oh, they turned around! What? That's not what you're supposed to do. And then he locks on. Oh, but the scan wears out. Ah, oh, the tragedy. Base is still rock solid. The Banshees gets taken out. Oh, no it doesn't. It's over there. I love the sporadic sensor tower placement. This is really strange to me. I mean, I guess the one from Kaczynski makes sense. But the one right here, I guess that's not a bad position to put it. Very centrally located, but kind of walling his opponent in with sensor towers. This is very, I guess not what I'm used to seeing. But hey, I mean, you gotta respect it, right? No medevacs either. These stim boys stay stim boys. Trying to get forward, move forward. There's the entrenched position. The bio on the ground underneath, stimming forward, trying to deal with the Air Force. Now, getting on top of the tanks. Concave, busting through. Maybe everything gets taken out here, but I mean, this is just catastrophic damage. Even down here, this command center getting taken out as well. AlphaStar, you got no money. Mined out in the main, mined out in the natural. And yeah, can't get up another base. Whereas meanwhile, there's 5 bases, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases up and running for Kaczynski. Moving forward to take out the command center, definitely worth it. Even though the bio ball sacrificed itself. Just absolutely monstrous plays, although I will say, I did wonder if AlphaStar knew that they could lift their command center and float it down. The answer, of course, is yes. And AlphaStar does not give up. That is one thing I will say. It definitely knows. Oh, I love it. I love it. Knows that winning is always possible. So we are staying in this game as long as we can. Although finally, I think you can really start to see the cracks in the AlphaStar armor, especially when you get used early on. Is he gonna land the Vikings? I'm not sure what the Vikings' purpose is here. It's not to land. There we go. We're landing them. The blink in, the tactical jump of battle cruisers. Oh, so iconic. Boom goes the dynamite, and that is gonna do it. Oh, I love it. The power, the force of humanity, the GG. AlphaStar taps out. Chalk one up for humanity. We did it. Success. We raided Area 51, boys. And wow, it only took a 161 ranked GM player to beat AlphaStar. So congratulations to humanity for putting himself on the board. Wow, I'm impressed. So now let's move on. We've got plenty more replays to go through. This is going to be a human Terran player named Gizm of Arabia taking on our Protoss AlphaStar AI. Hi, friend. I am, of course, not proxying anything. Let's see if this the mind games work. Okay? Just a GLHF down here. Now, actually, Gizm of Arabia trying the super secret mind game strats, okay? But he is, in fact, not actually proxying anything. I believe. Yeah, there's the barracks. Just making sure. The probe scout will confirm that Gizm of Arabia is a man of his word, a human man, that is, of his word, or woman. But now we get a chance to see if AlphaStar knows how to save its own workers. The answer is yes, it's learned. It's learning. They can open doors now. I'm waiting to see the day that a probe does not kill an SCV for free. Oh, look! Look at that! We're pulling them away. All right. Hey, at least the humans know how to protect their workers. Very fast Nexus on the other side of the map. Wow. I mean, I would consider it maybe a little bit worrisome if your opponent tells you I'm definitely not proxying you. I would just be worried for the rest of the game that I was going to be proxying. Not that much behind on the command center, but slightly faster on the Nexus, of course. Scout coming through and gets into the main flawlessly. Gonna see the cybernetics score. So really nothing looking too weird or out of the ordinary. No proxies, no cheeses. We saw Kaczynski, our human player, go for that Marauder proxy, get a bunch of damage done, and then win the game as our first human victory of the day. Now, I would say that now that the game is more standard, and especially going up against the Protoss AI agent, which in general is a little bit better. Oh, I love the shield battery. Like, which units are you shielding with the shield battery again? Oh, is it your no units? Is it your one adept? Sick. Well, here comes the adept, by the way, guys. There's a bunker at the front. So Gizm of Arabia, very well prepared. Gonna have a couple of Marines put in there. Ooh, did you see that timing? The reflexes on those depot raises. Impeccable. How does he do it? Adept able to shade away pretty safely. Just go back in, of course. And the Reaper actually kept at home in a bunker. Man, this is the most well-protected Reaper I have ever seen. The Adept's coming back home as the Oracle comes out. This seems to be also the kind of build that the Protoss AI agent, at least for the latter, has been most comfortable with. You start to pile on the early Adept pressure, maybe you pick off a couple of Marines, and then when the Oracle comes in, that's when you bop them. So let's see, is there any anti-air? No. There is a medevac in production. That doesn't shoot up. There is a Widow Mine in production, but is there actually a Widow Mine out? I don't think so. Oh, there is. Where is that Widow Mine? Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's buried right there. In case you guys can't see it, there's the Widow Mine. So actually, that is completely effective at deterring that Oracle, which I guess I would say is pretty impressive. Nice Reaper, getting across, harassing, killing off a couple of probes. Where's the lift? Oh, he actually does it. Oh, yeah, it does go for the lift. Okay. But now we've got double Oracle on this side of the map. I really want to see one of these die to a Widow Mine, guys. I can't tell you how much I want to see that. Maybe even both. Somehow, make it happen. We've got the illustrious Widow Mine drop. A single Widow Mine, by the way. It bypasses the Phoenixes. And are we ready? Are we ready? Here we go! My goodness, it pulls back just at the edge of vision. Oh, Widow Mine burrowing. Oh! Na-na-na. Nice hit off the Widow Mine. The Oracles have still been completely ineffectual. Or ineffectified at getting any damage done. But here we go. The 4 racks being thrown down. Now, all of these SCVs are actually outside the Widow Mine range, so they do have the potential of all just straight up dying here. And yeah, they all will. Wow. So that delays all 4 racks in the Air Force. Insane. Question being asked in chat, do you know if AlphaStar can detect cloaked or burrowed units visually like people can? I would imagine that's programmed in. It would be up to fairness, right? Because obviously humans are going to miss some cloaked units. You're not going to see a Widow Mine in the mineral line like that. Like, that's just not going to happen, okay? I mean, maybe if you're like the most god gamer out there, but probably not. Let's just put that out there. Nice little scouting SCV. What are you up to? Trying to find out. More Phoenix being added on, +1 ground weapons on the way, and I think that is the first upgrade of the game. Yeah, it is. So let's keep an eye on, oh, the ground army, including an immortal. I'm still trying to figure out how to increment the point totals because it's not the same hotkey that I'm used to. The Control and Alt and combined with plus and minus don't actually increment it. It only goes up when I click it. In groups of 10, up to 40, and then when I click it again, it goes back down to 0. Nice Widowmine shot. That's weird. Usually I would be able to set the score card down at the bottom. So I don't know what's up with that, but anyway, AlphaStar has macroed out an impressive air force and ground force. And even though our Terran player is pretty entrenched as well, complete with Widow Mines on the outside and turrets, let's see if I think he actually can detect that visually. It seems that AlphaStar can detect the sight of the Widow Mine. Yeah. I think it can actually see that. I guess that's kind of reasonable, like with DTs, you'd be able to see the shimmer. But I think Widow Mines are very hard to see. You really have to be looking. Here we go! We got a Colossi out. The tanks are being lifted. A Widow Mine connection does go off, and I think that's a really good one, but there's just no units here. Oh my god, the tanks do get dropped in the back. Are there enough Marines, though? The tanks are going to get lifted, and I think this might just be it. Yeah, the Army supply plummeting here in the Air Force. Even though it did get hit by a nice Widow Mine there, it does survive, and I think that is going to do it. GG! Humanity taps out, and that is an 11-1 score now for AlphaStar. Whew. So congratulations, chalk another one up for the robots. Now we're going to be moving on to a TVP again. This is MDMA Warrior versus AlphaStar's Protoss. Let's get into it, and here we go. Terran player MDMA Warrior in the upper right, playing against AlphaStar, who is playing Protoss in the bottom left. Dropping the GLHF, no space between the GLHF now, so clearly there is some variety in the greetings. Wow. I'm so excited that they programmed that in. Now, are we going to see a proxy again? Probably not. I'm disappointed. When you proxy AlphaStar, you win 100%. That's what we've seen today. Obviously, I'm exaggerating there, because it did actually do a pretty good job at dealing with that proxy. But, there's a big but, you definitely don't expect that every game. I wonder what would happen if AlphaStar got proxied so much that it overcompensated and then started losing a bunch of just normal games where it was too prepared for a rush that never came. Interesting things to think about. I'm not sure of the rank of MDMA Warrior, but I'm guessing he is probably somewhere in Masters. That's where most of these players have been. That seems to be kind of generally the level that AlphaStar is able to perform at. Oh my goodness, just barely unable to pick off that SCV. Humanity protecting its workers once again. It's a safe work environment. All of our workers are insured. And Command Center coming up once again just slightly after the Nexus. It's a little bit less than halfway completed. So this game actually looks remarkably similar to our last game. The issue for me, I guess, would be the macro. Always it seems like our human players seem to slip a little bit on that, and it seems like AlphaStar is just always incredibly on point. So let's see what the idea is for this game. For our Protoss player, we probably will see, or at least what I've seen mostly is Adept openers, but this is a Stalker opener, so we're already changing, learning, evolving. But Stargate play is definitely the way, or at least that's what we've seen kind of thematically consistently. So you want to go for a Stargate, you want to get a lot of Phoenix if you're AlphaStar. This is what AlphaStar is thinking. And then run around and, or I guess you get a couple Oracles early, and then Mass Phoenix afterwards with maybe some Colossi. So let's see how true that is. I love that AlphaStar also just kind of automatically shades its Adepts around just for no reason sometimes. Oh, last hit! No! And one dead RAPiD boy. Not going to be able to get any more. So. The bunker at the front, safe and sound there. Do we have any detection? No, aside from, of course, one scan. Where did that scan actually get used? I think it was on, I guess, one of the bases, but I did not see the scan itself. I just saw the scan energy. Oh, actually, that was a mule drop. Wow, I'm dumb. I just expected him to scan, to scout, but I'm actually just able to scan. Never mind, scratch that, delay that order. We do have another Spider Mine, though, and it appears as if Spider Mines are not incredibly effective against the AI. Oh, nice lift on the depot. I want to start burrowing some of these Widow Mines. Might want to start burrowing some of these Widow Mines. One in the back, and here comes the Oracle. So let's check this timing out, see if it works well enough. Because he will be able to obviously target down some of these SCVs and, forcing them to be pulled away. Oh, the lure! It works! I can't believe that works! You can lure the Oracle into the Widow Mine. Wow. Okay, well, I'm just learning so much right here. Dropping the Widow Mines off. Are they going to be able to connect? You need to target them onto the Phoenix, but oh, the pullback. AlphaStar able to save the air units, unable to kill the medevac or the Widow Mines. That's actually really interesting. I love learning these tiny little capabilities that AlphaStar does and does not have. It's actually really cool. Depth shading in, not going to commit. The Phoenix are here though. Gonna get a couple of lifts off at least. There is one for lift number 2. There's a Widow Mine there, and yeah, I guess the AI can in fact see that. They're gonna go in and don't lose a Phoenix. So, you know, I think if that were a human player, we would say, okay, a little bit of sloppy control running into the Widow Mine. But I mean, it's AlphaStar, right? It knew the Widow Mine was there, right? It's microed against it in that same position earlier. So I'm still not totally sure what the consistency issues are here. But hey, consistently expanding. There we go. Third base, on the way, coming up. Third base for Terran? I think not. Shade in, actually. Shade does complete. There's enough Marines to just instantly kill off that Adept. There's enough to like stim and deal a lot of damage to the Phoenix too, but oh ho ho! He saw the lock on there for a second, giving a wide berth to that Widow Mine. Now coming back into the main. Are there any burrowed Widow Mines here? No, just vulnerable, juicy SCV kills. Yeah, more and more being taken out here. A lift from the only Marine. Running these Marines ragged. Oh, there it is. That's the hit we were looking for, taking off so many of those shields. And of course, killing a Phoenix. But hey, when you lose some of your earlier Phoenixes, you just get more. This is definitely the way that AlphaStar wants to go. It's going for, I guess, pretty much the same build, although less Oracles than before. Colossi and extended thermal lance in production. Just like the Marines are doing a decent job at pushing the Phoenix away, but I feel like the critical mass will be reached eventually. The army supply is just not that high, I guess, for either player, but specifically for the Terran, because the Protoss player just will not stop expanding. 4 bases to a Terran 2, and even though the command center is just now being completed in the main, it's not mining, and oh no, look at this lifting even the Widow Mine. Oh man, the Phoenix just getting way too much value at this point. Okay, I'm trying to do control plus and control minus, but that only changes the speed. And if I control click, it still just puts 10 up on the board there. I'm not sure how to increment groups of one. So maybe I'm just I'm the dumb person and I can't figure out how to do the scoreboard. I am trying though, guys. A huge all-in attempt. They stim on top of the Colossi. Humanity has found its most valuable strength, and that is to just go. Now it's got to kill the second Colossi here. I don't know if this one is going to be as successful. Obviously not. A GG comes out, and AlphaStar continues to rack up the wins. I am trying to figure out exactly how to work the score at the bottom. Control plus for bottom score. No, when I do control plus, it makes the game move more quickly. I don't know if I'm just doing something totally wrong. This is WCS 3.0 overlay, so you would imagine that I should be able to increment it. Huh. I've never had that problem before. Also, I don't observe a lot of games, so I'm still figuring it out. So this is SY2G Sweetie. Obviously, SY2G, a fantastic penguin clan down here, being represented by our Terran human player against the AlphaStar Zerg AI up here. Okay, there we go. This is really weird, by the way. Okay, there we go. Now, how do I change the top player's score? Oh my goodness, I'm trying to figure everything out here. This is so weird. Let me actually put the in-game overlay on. You can see I was really trying to focus there, guys. Look at this. All right. The score might not matter. I think we're at, are we at 12? Yeah, so we're 12 for the AI, and then shift. Yeah, 12 for AI, 1 for humanity. I think that's where we're at. I'll try to keep track of this now. But we're at triple proxy barracks here, so we are cheesing it up. And one of the hallmarks of the Zerg AI is that they do not get a lot of Zerglings. They don't get early Zerglings. They're very vulnerable to this. But let's see if they know what to do with scouting information. If they see no barracks here, they should know they're getting cheesed. And how do they deal with this? Do they pull drones to stop the bunkers from coming up? No. No, they don't. All right, well, we are about to witness a very dead Zerg AI. So I'm going to preemptively put one more on the board here. All right. I'm counting this as a win already. Actually, that's a little BM. I am not BM, okay? But yeah, this is terrible. This is not how you're supposed to react at all. The bunker's coming down, and there's no way that AlphaStar can deal with this. Okay, so that's really impressive. I'm actually super surprised that we haven't seen more cheesing. But yeah, this is super dead. Triple proxy racks, a classic. Now let's see if he tries to flood this with lings and drones or lings and queens and overwhelm it to stay alive. There's more Marines coming in. How many Marines does he have? Okay, he's got enough to fill up the bunkers. The chain leads come out. They actually do catch a couple of Marines. But I think this is a little bit too little too late. What are these Zerglings doing? I'm still waiting to figure that out. I guess they're stopping the Marines from going high ground. But I mean, we're not stopping our Marine production here. We just keep getting more. Finally, the Zerglings are baited forward. Is it good enough? Oh wow, actually almost all the Marines getting caught there. That's so good. Oh my god. I don't think it's good enough. Also, he's gonna lose an Overlord for free, so that sucks. Also, that drone dies for free, which sucks as well. So I'm inclined to say that Sweetie is gonna win. But I guess we'll find out. Obviously, it sucks to keep hemorrhaging units. This is one of the maybe flaws in the Zerg AI is that all of this is pretty bad. You set up like a meat grinder and just, yeah, the drones, the Zerglings, they keep dying. Okay, so this is obviously a little bit of a flaw in the AI learning. Probably it will not do this too many more times. But even if it does, it's training, okay? I love this, the boldness, the brash nature of these Marines. Go so far forward against so many Zerglings. Scouting with the barracks, sees exactly what to expect. Supply block now after killing that Overlord, getting back to the ramp. Can't get surrounded here. Trying to micro back to the bunkers. Oh, barely gets in time. That is a lot of Zerglings, my friend. Gotta respect it, but he's already lifted off the barracks. He's just kind of trying to deny the periodic drone that for some reason gets rallied down here. If this were a human player, I'd just say that was a bad rally point, but I mean, I think we know it's not, obviously. So let's see how the AI wants to bust out of the main, because it hasn't. We're double expanding behind this, keep in mind, guys. 2 command centers on the way, or rather these 2. Because Sweetsy, playing of course for SY2G, is killing it. He's gotten a lot of damage done early. He keeps getting free drones, free Zerglings, and yeah, look at this. They keep trying to run by, but spoiler alert, that does not work. So now we're gonna get a Roach Warren, probably Ravagers coming up. We're teching maybe to layer on 1 base. I'm just thinking forward, thinking into the future, because the agent here is not reacting to this correctly at all. More drones on the way. Only 1 gas geyser taken and only 1 drone in that gas. So that's still kind of interesting, especially if you're going to be switching into massive roach production. I guess the AI figures, wait a second, I don't have many hatcheries, so I kind of have to use what I have. I mean, I feel like that's enough Zerglings to break through, right? I'm not wrong there. Like, there's no harassment on the other side. I think Sweetsy, if he had just even entrenched right here, he would still be killing it. But I think he knows that he doesn't need to. He can pull back, get a bigger advantage, and here we go. Finally, now there should be a rally. Oh, this should be set to go into the next bunker, but instead it's not. Everything dies here. The bunker is not salvaged. Finally, AlphaStar is able to break out of its own base. Finally, another hatchery coming down. Also, finally, the Zerglings running across the map. Now, this is walled, right? Oh, actually, no, it wasn't walled. Holy cow. This is the panic emergency wall from Sweetsy. This is you wall like you've never walled before. There's actually an ancient Norse myth about, I think is it Odin? Somebody disguises themselves. Oh, no, so the Norse gods make a bet with this giant who like disguises himself as a mortal. And then they try to get this guy to build a wall around Asgard. And then obviously he's like about to do it, and then Loki like tricks him. But this is exactly the same way. This is the panic wall. You hire whoever you can get to build because you really need it. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. We are on a 2-base Zerg who is not yet established a natural expansion against a human Terran player with a ton of SCVs, ton of mules, and an extra orbital even waiting to come down here. And look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 racks and VCs coming out. I love that when Terran players win, they win with VCs. That's something I can get behind. I'm down to be part of that humanity. Warping him in. Nice transfuses, and actually, if you warp in a battle cruiser, you're not going to be able to warp it back out again. So, more transfuse energy being sight. Oh my god, he's going to lose the battle cruiser here. And no, you didn't. I think it's still, yep. Boom goes the dynamite. There it is. One battle cruiser is out of there. Usually you want to move the battle cruisers across the map slowly and then warp them back home to repair. Good job on the queen positioning as well as the transfuse energies, AlphaStar. Keeping those queens alive, killing off battle cruiser, and now I guess you don't really have too much to worry about as an AI Zerg. The only problem is he only has 2 hatcheries, so theoretically the macro is going to be highly limited. And in fact, once this push heads across the map, I don't even know. So here we go. We're moving out. We're going to try to scan and take out some creep tumors. Yep, there we go. Not sure we need a stim necessarily, but hey, whatever works. Baiting out the vials, morphing into Hellbats. Another scan, and okay, he doesn't actually scan to kill the tumors that were behind him, but he does scan to kill quite a few tumors here. Not overextending. Oh, corrosive vial, not hitting just yet. Medivacs are here for the heals, and I think it's time. I think it's time. We're going for it, but AlphaStar waiting, not wanting to pull the trigger just yet. The initial wall of Hellbats actually doing a good job to body block. Look at that, burninating the countryside. And it appears as if humanity is about to chalk up another win on the board. Yeah, not nearly enough here to defend. I think AlphaStar might be eliminated here. I'm going to go ahead and increment our scoreboard again to show that, wow, that is a very impressive victory we are about to witness. Sweetie! Of course, playing for clan SY2G with a victory. The GG comes out, and Sweetsy, it's our second human player to take out AlphaStar. Nice! That is actually pretty impressive. Coming up next, we have a Protoss versus Zerg. Once again, the Zerg AlphaStar taking on Swiginto. That's how I'm going to pronounce that. Swiginto. That's what we're going with. And I'm sticking to it. So in the upper right-hand corner, upper left-hand corner, I'm so bad. Upper left-hand corner, in the red, is our Protoss AI agent for AlphaStar. And in the bottom right-hand corner in the blue is Swiginto. Or Swiginto. Swiginto. We're going for Swiginto. All right, guys. Let me check the overlay options 1 second, just to make sure. Observer and replay. WCS 3.0 for the replay interface. I don't know how to turn on both WCS 3.0 and GameHeart. I'm a super noob at observing. I just cast this game, guys. I don't observe, so I am still figuring things out. But yeah, Swiginto is our Zerg player representing humanity down on the bottom right-hand side of Kairos Junction. Whoops. All right, moving across the map. Next is coming down. Obviously, the Zerg is a little bit faster to expand. Sorry, just trying to also micromanage the overlays as well. So let's keep an eye on what we got going on here. Usually, we see Air Force out of the Protoss player, or the Protoss AI. So lots of Oracles and Phoenixes, with a couple of Adepts out early on. But, Zergs can play a lot of different ways. This is not something super aggressive from our Zerg player. Hatchcast pool makes a ton of sense. It's a pretty standard opener. And then on the other side, yeah, just going for a couple of early Adepts. Scouting probe heading back home so it doesn't die, and the scouting Zerglings are just not actually scouting at all. That's what Overlords are for. No Stalkers actually being produced. Usually, human players will produce at least one Stalker to push the Overlords back away. But Double Adept is definitely a way that you can go if you want to be aggressive with them and try to either limit scouting information or pick off a couple of cheeky drones there at the end. Adepts trying to shade through. Oh, they get glitched out. Oh, one of them stuck. And they complete their shade. All the way into the main, actually. Wow, there's not a lot there to defend. Targeting now 1 drone, 2 drones, 3 drones, 4 drones, 5 drones. No. And he gets the shade out to save the Adept. Wow. Wow. I am impressed. Getting back in with more Adepts for more drone kills. Suiginto is only on 23 workers versus 37. I can't believe how, honestly, AlphaStar is good at a bunch of stuff, but the ability of AlphaStar to build workers just boggles the mind. Never stopping, always more workers, more workers. It's totally saturated, still building more workers. Look at how, like, solid this entrance is. Like, this guy's never moving out of his base. I mean, I guess you can, in fact, warp out of your base, but you can never move back into it. I'm honestly surprised that we aren't seeing Stargate play more. But he's going for a Dark Shrine. Yeah. Dark Shrine on the way. Five gateways in production here for our Red Protoss AI agent. And look, more drones going down. Oh my goodness, this is tragic. 10 Lings in production as well. There's nothing to stop these Adepts. What? I'm so confused as to what our Zerg player is doing. Obviously, losing a bunch of drones sucks, but I mean, I never expected these players to be this thrown off. Warp Prism. Oh no. I love the 1DT 3 Zealot drop. That's the way we're doing it. Actually, I think it's 4 Zealots, right? No, it is 2 DTs, and that's it. Wow, GG. That game was incredibly anticlimactic. The human player just rolled over and died. Wow. Okay, so that was a game. 5 minutes, 29 seconds. So let's jump into the next one. This is, again, with our Protoss AlphaStar versus a Zerg human opponent. So we're going to learn what the previous matchup could have been. So let's get into it. In the upper left-hand corner is our red Protoss players, King's Cove. Of course, this is our Protoss AI agent for AlphaStar, dropping GHF. And he's playing against Mirzo, our human Zerg player, in the bottom right in the blue. So I'm just going to set this before it ends. All I see is WCS 3.0 or game heart. So I'm just going to set game heart. Oh, so the replay interface and the observer interface. Anyway, all right. Game heart, that's what we want. Anyway, return to game. That'll be different for our next one. Actually, let me, since it's just started, I can actually just restart the replay here really quickly. We didn't miss anything, guys. Don't worry about it. Finally, all right. Oh, look at how clean it all looks. Anyway, just when I was learning the other overlay, now I have to learn a new one. I tell you, so difficult. IMMI, what a clan name. That's a sick logo, though. Mirzo is our human Zerg, and this is our AI Protoss. And now we're back where we used to be. Got it. Perfect. You guys didn't see anything. Or you didn't miss anything. That's what I meant to say. So, where were we? Yeah, we've got an AI Protoss. Last game, it walled in most egregiously. And it looks like it might just try to wall this area instead of, like, you know, this area. I'm kind of curious as to how the AI spatially learns to build walls. Because, like, I feel like the Protoss wall specifically has a much bigger purpose. Like, you're supposed to use one, or leave a hex for a unit to block, or a couple of units to block, like Zealots or Adepts. But Protoss AI does not do that. So, obviously, we are still learning what on earth is possible here. Second gas coming up. The idle probe's waiting for it to finish. I don't know about that, but they're going to be there when they need it. Lots and lots of gas required for what has been pretty exclusively just Stargate play from our Protoss AI. I mean, sometimes there are Colossi that gets mixed in after the mid-game, you know, after we're on 3-4 bases. But, yeah, usually it is Stargates that are produced. Now, neither player going for much aggression. Turn on the production tab there. Yeah, like I said, neither player going for a lot of aggression early. I'm actually a little bit disappointed there. Ooh, third hatchery. I like it. Getting a little, well, I don't want to say greedy because he obviously scouted there wasn't much coming his way. So Overlord getting in, seeing everything, getting out. He doesn't know if there's maybe some secret, sneaky, hidden tech up here, but I guess you can't just like send the Overlord into the main and expect it to live every time. There should be stalkers coming out, right? Or I guess a thing to shoot up. Okay, there's a sentry. Nice. The sentry will push it away. His will be a beam that will pierce the heavens. For sure. Now, how many, what are we losing down here? And the answer is not a lot, actually. I think maybe one drone lost. Maybe that was actually just a Zergling. But anyway, the Adept taken care of. And now 3 bases coming up. This is actually not bad. For a Zerg player to have 3 bases up at 330, feels pretty good, man. And yeah, I think Mirzo figured out that basically there's nothing here that can shoot up, so he gets basically a free scout here. Warp Prism on the way, and he'll actually see the Warp Prism, and he'll see the Dark Shrine. Now, I don't know about this decision to drop the Dark Shrine in the Overlord's face, as well as the Warp Prism. Like it's not even a secret. This is like when you're wrapping your Christmas presents in front of the person you're giving them to. I'm like, well, don't they just know? Right? Right? I don't know. There's only 12 army supply for our Zerg players, so anything is possible. Oh, warping in Adepts, that's cute. Usually you see the DTs warped in there, and then you lift them, and then you either make Archons right away or not. Pushing out the Adepts once again. And here we go. 4 in the mineral line. That's actually nice. Against Stargate units, not nice against an Oracle or a War Prism that can just run in, drop off its payload, and get back in. Oh, actually, I love it when it glitches out. Very, very good at stopping the DPS. Again, the Adepts do not abide. Now, why aren't we warping in DTs? That's my question. The Adepts kill drones really fast, especially when you have 3 of them. Finally pushing that Warp Prism away. Ugh! Will nothing be able to stop its reign of chaos? Well, oof. More Adepts going down. On the other side, a couple of Zerglings being annoying. That is actually kind of cool, because it does supply block the Protoss player. Usually as Protoss, you kind of just build pylons. It's not like it's a huge big deal. DT forcing those forwards to move around, be annoying. Nothing super rocket science. Now, what are we looking for as far as the transition? Like I said earlier, usually we see Stargate play. This is not that. This is Gateway play with Colossi being added in. There's the robotics bay. Or I guess it could be Disruptors. Although I haven't actually seen the AI use Disruptors. I'll bet it's fantastic at them. Or maybe it could be absolutely terrible. I'm not totally sure. Nice. Overlord seeing absolutely everything once again. It is Disruptors, okay. And a Stargate finally coming down. And finally, there's a stalk route to push this Overlord away. Thank you. Thank goodness. War Prism's still alive, still got the DT inside. Hallucinating a Phoenix to go fly around and scout, which is really interesting. I can't believe the AI knows to do that. Ugh, crazy, just from learning too. And there we go, 3 bases versus 3 bases. Still no expansion opportunity. Taken by our Zerg player. I mean, usually you would see a 4th base coming down right about now, right? I mean, I'm not an expert, but that would be a good opportunity. Is there a way that I can turn off? Oh, that was not what I meant to do. I'm so sorry. Oh, okay. I just need to turn off the replay configuration. My bad. I'll make sure to do that for the next replay. I'm still a little bit new to using this replay overlay. Also just observing in general, so please be kind. Cannons at the front. This is really interesting cannon construction. More shield batteries and cannons. Wow, Protoss really turtles up. Or the Protoss AI really turtles up, that is. Here's our chilling, scouting. Move that to high ground. There it is. And what am I watching? Okay, Stargate play coming out. So we've bunkered down, got Disruptors, but we haven't done anything yet. Well, I say we as in the AI. But we as in the humans, or I guess it's Zerg, but the human Zerg opponent, or player, finally getting that 4th base up. Decent army supplies. We've gotten +1/+1, or +1 done for both races. Now just now starting +2 for both of them as well. So we are really looking to put damage on. Carapace, what is that? How do you build armor? No, will not have it. But yeah, 4th base on the way. You should probably even go for this base, honestly, now. I think it's about time. Trying to figure out what's up with our Phoenix boys. Where are we going? All right, looks like we're going into the Hydras. Whoa! Yeah, definitely don't want to hit that. This army is starting to get a little bit scary though. If you look at army supplies, the Zerg player is still just slightly ahead. I guess that makes a little sense, but kind of about the infrastructure at this point. Morphing more Archons. Where are we morphing those Archons? Back at home. Loaded up, and I guess they're not really loading up. But anyway, here we go. The big push. The Protoss Death Ball. 93 army supply here. But here comes so many Banelings. Look at those Baneling connections. Oh my goodness, they're so immense. The Hydras, though, can't really fight that straight up. The Disruptors disrupting very adequately. And let's see if these Banelings can connect. Oh my goodness, look at those connections. The Banelings bruise everything, but they don't actually kill a whole lot. 44 Zerglings now in production. I think some of those should be Hydras, but all the Zerglings now popping. They're streaming out. More Banelings being morphed. I don't know if Banelings are what you want against this particular comp. I think maybe just concaves of Hydras. But this is still very, very scary. So we're going Hydraling Bane as the, I guess, composition of choice. Teleporting back. Wait, what? Okay, yeah. Recalling, I guess, the entire army to deal with just a few Zerglings. Obviously, that is music to our Zerg players' ears. 15 drones in production. Wow. That is quite the round of larva. Does he actually have enough Hydras to deal with this many Phoenix? I don't think so. I think he needs a lot more. They have tons of energy for flips. As you can see, they are not dying all that quickly. So, oh, running over even the morphing Banelings. A couple of these do survive. But wow, yeah, that was a big dent in our Zerg players' army. Went down to, I think, 25, 30, something like that. And keep in mind, also, this is a full 4-base Zerg economy that is still having the bank spent over and over and over again. And actually, our Protoss player has quite a few surplus minerals. That's why you keep seeing these Zealots being warped in. It's just like, I have minerals, I should spend those. Kind of waffling around in the middle of the map is our Protoss AI. So let's see what the purpose of all of this is. I think you can tell that it knows that pushing onto creep is like a bad idea, but it doesn't have an observer with the army to clear out the creep tumors. So that's pretty strange to me. I guess it doesn't detect cloaked threats, so it doesn't go for the observer, which is, yeah, still really strange. So we're staying back on 3, now 4 bases for our Protoss player, and our Zerg kind of needs to get up a 5th, 6th, 7th base. Getting this one right here, and so obviously this is very good. Walls of spines and spores there to protect it, but will it even come into fruition? The answer is maybe not. Because once again, the army supply vastly in favor of Protoss. Throwing down some infested Terrans. Let's see if these infestors have what it takes. Looks like the answer is maybe not. They do actually get a lot of damage done with those infested Terrans, but even with Broodlords here, oh, look at the disruption Novas. Oh, disgusting. Zerg army just cannot survive long enough. And that's it. GG. AlphaStar takes another one. Incredible play there. That was actually really back and forth. I'm pretty impressed with that. Whew, now we've been through about 15 replays, so I'm going to take a quick break to get some water and use the bathroom. I will be back. I also, before I leave, want to make sure that I update the observer overlays back to WCS 3.0. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back with some more AlphaStar replays, so don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are getting back in with another replay here. We've got about 5 or 6 more of these left, and then we're going to call it a day. But for the meantime, we are learning quite a bit, so just hang with me, and whoa, let's see what we have to learn from our next replay. Down in the bottom left of New Repugnancy in the red is our player Pusek. I'm going to call it Pusek. Obviously, the Q is a little bit weird, but we're going to go with Pusek, all right? In the upper right is our Protoss player AlphaStar, or Alpha, I guess DeepMind. There we go. So it's the AlphaStar AI agent by DeepMind. I think it's the way I'm supposed to say that. But GLHF comes down from AlphaStar, and then U2 from Pusek, so returning the favor. This has actually been pretty exciting to learn a little bit more about AlphaStar and figure out some of the patterns that it exhibits. I think for the most part, the Protoss goes for a couple of adepts and then into massive amounts of air, and then Colossi or Disruptors later on. It also likes the full wall. I think it's figured out that you can warp in outside and that you don't really need. Okay. Well, this is our human player, but it also it loves the full wall, but it also does that even if it's not going for a lot of Stargate play, which is really interesting. Usually you would full wall and then do massive Stargate play, but in the end, this is going to be a PvP, so we get a chance to watch what it looks like when a player that has more diverse builds, which I would say is true of latter Protosses, versus a player that does pretty consistently the same thing every time. And this is what's going to be so interesting about the evolution of AlphaStar as it learns and grows. Is obviously as a human player, you have a lot of decision making to do, whereas I'm not sure what the decision-making process is like for AlphaStar, because it appears as if AlphaStar is learning what is the most generally optimal way to play the game, and then trying to play it out that way with some minor adjustments on the fly, like how to play a fight. But a couple of people are asking me, it's like, oh well, do you think that AI will be in tournaments, for example? Are we gonna have AI on one side of the bracket or something? And I would say that probably, like, the first hurdle is just getting to play the game. Like, these are baby steps. And I think this is something that the AI researchers at DeepMind talked a lot about during their program that they put on from their studio. Is that these are just the very mostest baby steps that you could possibly have. Just getting this to work is incredible. And the fact that it's now live out in a native environment, or outside its native environment, that is just impressive to me. But the bigger thing is to figure out, can it make like build order decisions? Like when it goes into a best of 5, will it like send a different agent or something, or which is its version of playing a different strategy? Gives some really cool things to think about and watch develop. So the blue Protoss obviously is going for massive depths because the depths are very flexible. They harass the kill workers a lot, and that's something that it has learned is in general pretty effective. It doesn't know how to do this pylon wall re-wall to stop the adepts from getting in. But with the Oracle getting in, haha, checkmate, there's nothing to deal with. And so finally, something goes right for AlphaStar, and it gets chaotic amounts of damage done. It killed every single worker in that mineral line. Well, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, well, now there's only one worker for Pusek. That is a tragedy, but if you win the game, obviously nothing else matters. However, Void Rays are pretty good at winning the game, and so I believe this will do it. That should be GG. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, Pusek, you know, you tried, but then you lost every worker to an Oracle. We really got a fantasy GG at this point. 1 worker, 8 army supply. Pusek, he's going for it. You gotta give it to him for trying. Well, maybe not. Okay, well, that's gonna do it for this one, and then we are just gonna move on out. So, that's a game. I'm not sure I've seen too many more of those, but let's watch 4 or 5 more replays, and then we'll call it a day. This one is going to be between Alex, our Zerg player, versus the Terran AlphaStar AI agent. So here's the forces of humanity, which ironically enough are the mechanical Zerg skins, neither of which are very human. And then this is our AlphaStar AI agent down here in the bottom left as our blue Terran player. On the map, New Repugnancy, which is one of the maps that I think we've seen the most today. Which seems to be popping up quite a bit. Now, Zerg, they do have a lot of early game cheesy options, and in general, AlphaStar seems to really struggle against early game aggression. But we don't see, yeah, I'm guessing this is just going to be hatch gas pool. Yeah, so hatch, we should see a gas and then a pool coming down here pretty quickly. Or subsequently is the word I was looking for. And on the other side, I'm guessing just Banshee play. I'm guessing just Banshee play. There we go. From our Terran AI agent, because that seems to be pretty effective. You get a lot of tech, and the only thing that really hurts is when you get cheesed. So I think on ladder, in a generic ladder setting, you probably get cheesed a lot. I would say, just speaking from personal experience and also just from, you know, maybe logic. But for the most part, I don't think that AlphaStar is able to cheese. I wonder if AlphaStar has ever cheesed in its like developmental process. I mean, I'm sure that has happened at some point, but it does actually kind of surprise me because in theory you should be looking for like the fastest way to win. A lot of times, so if you guys are familiar with the Zerg player Dark, he's a GSL player, he's one of the best Zerg players in the world. A lot of people were saying he wins with aggressive play because he only knows how to play aggressively. And I'm like, what, do you want him to take longer to win the game? Like, if you see the kill switch, you should push it, right? If you have the opportunity to kill your opponent, you should do it, right? And so the idea would be that winning faster is in theory somewhat better because you don't take longer. But sometimes winning slower is better, which is really weird to teach to an AI that you should slow down instead of being more aggressive. It's a weird concept like that. So these are just some of the things that I've been thinking about as I've been watching and casting some of these AlphaStar replays. Third hatchery coming through, not stopped by that Reaper. There are a few Zerglings to kind of be annoying to the Reaper before a bunch of queens come out. Drones on the way, so nothing aggressive from Alex, although maybe he could put this third hatchery to some aggressive use. Reaper healing up. How does the Reaper do that? What is the Reaper healing upgrade called? Somebody knows the name of that. Well, not upgrade, but characteristic passive. What is that called? Actually, I guess maybe I could just... Nah, I'll leave that to you guys if you want to help me out. That's the interactive part of today's stream. But yeah, business as usual. No secondary wall here just yet. Definitely a characteristic of human play to try to build that one relatively quickly. Swapping off our add-ons. Let's see if he makes use of that. Yeah, 2 Marines on the way. Nice. And our first little harassment squad. It's really weird. Sometimes because the AI is pretty inconsistent. It's like, how many Reapers do you want versus how many Hellions? And they are automatically see no workers here, nothing to do. They find a couple of queens. That's definitely not their target. And yeah, running right back on out. Wow. The Overlord does see the Banshee coming, so we should morph an Overseer somewhere. Actually, just going to throw down some spores. And the Baneling Nest there at the front. Spores will come through. The Banshee will probably not get any damage done. But, I mean, you got to watch out for the hatchery dying there. That is still vulnerable. So, something to keep an eye on. (14-2), I believe, is the score so far. So, not looking good for humanity. And here's the depot wall. All right, nice. So it is finally doing that. One thing that AlphaStar does is that it'll spike when there's a fight, obviously to like 500-600 APM. And some of that is just weird stuff you wouldn't necessarily expect, like queuing up more workers and raising and lowering depots. Which obviously not a human would not really do for micro, you know, during an engagement or something. I love this Zergling or the Baneling mech Banelings, the little mesh wires. That is so sick. Obviously one of the best skills. Now there's a spore here to try to hold off against the Banshee threat. But obviously doesn't cover everything, so the Banshee's going to look for more somewhere else. Is there an Overseer? Yep, there it is. And so the Queens chase down the Banshee, pick off one, and only one. Second Banshee survives. Now where's the next Banshee? There it is. I automatically knew it. Man, AlphaStar just keeps sending out Banshees over and over and over again. Now coming back in with the ground harassment force. Not able to actually get in and really do much of anything. Sure, it'll show up, but the Banelings just by themselves blow it all up. And the worker count is still more for AlphaStar, which is kind of surprising, as it does have this third base up. But the army supply also in its favor in the form of these like spread tanks. So I think if you're the Zerg player, you try to spread a bunch of creep, like you can see these tumors being lined up right here. And then you also want to just tech as fast as you possibly can to something like Broodlord, like the inevitability unit. So if you're Protoss, you would tech to Tempest, or Broodlord, something like that. Because you know that your opponent is going to play like very methodically. But again, here I am using this human logic to try to come up with an answer. And boom goes the dynamite. Nice. Dealing with that Banshee. We still got this guy up here from earlier, and if my hunch is correct, we've got more Banshees in production. Oh, look at those Banelings. Sad little lives that they live. Oh well. Gone but not forgotten. Actually, I'm going to forget about them, so never mind. 3 base versus 4. The fourth one just now popping. We'll see how fast the drones get Maynarded down there. 7 Hydras, 3 Overlords, and a Partridge and a Pear Tree in production for Alex, actually, I have the score line incorrect here. This is Shift or Control 2, and this is, yeah, 14 to 2. There it is. Apologies for the incorrect scoreline. I'm still getting used to this observer replay watching kind of deal. Big mega drop loaded up. This is the first time that I've actually seen AlphaStar go for like a, I guess I wouldn't call this a doom drop, but it's pretty doomy looking. It's doom-ish. And obviously if you run in, drop them off, this is not been scouted, I don't think. This is weird that the Marines like rally to the drop. Okay, they're pulling back. I think that might be in a reaction to the Zergling killing the SCV before it can build the command center. But here we go. Big drop coming through. They do drop on the medevac, so it knows how to drop, like, click on the medevac. But that is just quite a few Marines. So how do you deal with that? Do they focus down the banelings? They do. Some of them still connect. Where's the rest of the Zerg army? It's all out here, and it's all Zerglings. It's going to morph a bunch into banelings, but in the meantime, this is going to deal a lot of damage. Going to take out an Evo Chamber, take out a natural hatchery. Picking off reinforcements, very important, very effective. And now that the banelings are hatching, here we go. Loading up, picking up. Oh my goodness. AlphaStar, the god. The sickest pickups this side of the Rocky Mountains. This is bad though. This is way bad. Giga bad over here. Ugh. Gonna drop and redrop over here. This is actually really annoying to deal with. This is the first time I've actually seen pretty impressive like drop play out of AlphaStar. Just loads up, picks up, goes back and forth, and our human player is not doing a great job reacting to that. Lots of reinforcements being picked off, but I think at that point, yeah, just too annoying. Alex getting out of there. That is 15 to 2. The score for AlphaStar. Wow. That drop play, loading up not only a large amount of units into those dropships. Obviously, if you lose those dropships carelessly, you're kind of boned. But the pickup and the loading, unloading, really, really impressive. I have not seen AlphaStar do that before, because usually it just goes Banshees into bio-tank push. But that was pretty impressive. So let's go AlphaStar versus a barcode. It's Zerg AlphaStar this time. So a little bit of a different flavor. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. Once again, a big thanks to Titan EX1 for putting on this, I guess, show match series program where we go over some AlphaStar replays. This is actually really fun, really interesting, so I hope you guys are enjoying it. Let's go back to in-game, and this is our, let me get my overlay correct here. So we're going up to 15 to 2. There we go. All right, we got it. Sick. Zerg AlphaStar, dropping the GLHF. It's like a barcode. Is that another AlphaStar? My people, they're out there. Now they start having a detailed conversation in AI language. I'm actually really impressed with Terran AlphaStar. Somebody told me before this that Terran AlphaStar was like gigabad, but that's actually incredibly impressive that it can do that. Like if you could have shown AlphaStar doing that, like even just like 2, 3, 4 months ago, I mean that would have been very cool, very cool. But yeah, so we've got a human Protoss player in the red versus the AI agent Zerg player in the top left. So expanding here because this is blocked. Now that's really interesting because this is something human players do, right? Where they see that this location is blocked and they expand to the far one away. That's actually remarkably human. So, wow. Good on you, AlphaStar. On the other side, let's just keep an eye on what's happening from our Protoss player. This is a pretty normal Protoss wall-in. Going for a forge, so there will be cannons, at least in theory, which should help any sort of bust attempt here. But I'm trying to think because, so Zerg AlphaStar, I'm still a little bit new to figuring out what Zerg AlphaStar does. But lots of Roach play, at least is what I've seen. Roach Ravager, for the most part. Yep, cannon behind the wall, so these Zerglings will not really be able to do all that much. I mean, they're going to be annoying, but the cannon should be done here in just a second. USS Captain in chat saying, Terran AlphaStar gets units stuck behind buildings and makes bad depot walls. You know, you say the bad depot wall thing, but actually the depot walls have been pretty remarkably good. So I don't know if that bad depot wall thing is something that was just like growing pains and now it's growing out of that, because it certainly seems to be growing out of it. Robo, all right. Some drop play. Probably Dark Shrine coming down here momentarily as soon as that Twilight finishes up. There's the Twilight up the front. Zerglings just poking in and prodding, and we're looking for 3 bases. Yeah, 3rd base just now popping. Should be, yeah, just more and more drones. More drones. Always more drones on the way. The macro from AlphaStar is by far the most consistent one. The Zerg AlphaStar goes for a Ling Speed Flood and then goes Roach Ravager plus Hydras versus Toss. Yeah, I guess I have seen the Hydra thing, but let's see what this looks like. Because there's still minimal Zerglings being produced. In fact, yeah, these are the only attacking units on the map right here. So, including, I thought there were some Zerglings left back at home, but no, this is it. We are powering on the economy. And this is something I guess AlphaStar has like figured out, is that one of the ways to get ahead is to play economically greedy, or greedily. Killing off the forge. Sad. Gone but not forgotten. Here goes the Warp Prism. Dark Shrine just now finishing up. We should see the the DTs be warped in here momentarily. Probably like right here, right here. 4 Cape Boys coming in. Now, is there any detection? Wait, does AlphaStar just straight up die here? There's no detection. Oh my goodness. So there's a couple of Overseers being morphed. Do they have enough time before the hatchery goes down, before the lair goes down? I think the lair just falls, and then you pick them up, and yeah. Okay, doesn't want to lose the prism, so yeah. That's actually crazy. Oh my goodness, AlphaStar. You let me down. Is it going to morph a lair at a different location? That would be so sick to watch. Or does it only know to morph the lair in the main? That's a pretty sick question. I had never actually thought about that. But hey, Speedling all in, right on time. Killing off that forge, maybe not what was the best option. And so yeah, we're going to try to make a little re-wall here with some pylons, but our big fat immortal boy up at the front might not be the best thing to have in the front of your wall. But yeah, it's just Speedlings, only Speedlings right now, and finally Roach is being added in now that the Roach Warren has been built. But uh-oh, there's no creep, so the Roach Warren is actually dying. That's actually a little bit hilarious in a morbid kind of way. Protoss panicked a little bit and built that pylon, so now it's going to have to unwall for the 2nd time this game. And what direction are we going in? Finally, Templar Archives and more Immortals seem to be the rule of thumb. Supply block sucks, so a bunch of pylons going down. To err is definitely human, as they say. Sorry, just trying to keep an eye on the Zerglings. Really hard for our Protoss player to get a third base up. You might even try to maybe take that one. Killing off a bunch of these lings that are choosing to fight the zealots, which is generally not a great matchup there. Yep, lings get slaughtered. Even charge done. Now that obviously sucks to lose everything out of the map like that. Oh no. Never mind, it's 71 to 17 army supply. Well, alright, Protoss is super dead. The macro wins again. So this is now 16 to 2. Really weird. Sad that the Warp Prism play never worked out, even though he did get a bunch of damage done. And so maybe the Dark Templar are going to get chaotic amounts of damage done. But there are Overseers, so theoretically the new teams will never be able to really do all that much. Are we going to see a base race? I guess, but I don't know how viable this base race is going to be. I mean, Dark Templars are pretty good at killing buildings. This is so crazy. AlphaStar, can you win a base race? I mean, I'm looking at the supply. It's not good for our Protoss player, but he is actually killing everything with Dark Templar. You should actually be just focusing down the buildings. Like, I mean, I guess all the Zerg buildings will die eventually, except for, you know, obviously the extractors. Is he gonna rebuild? Okay, so he's recalling, but there's observers here. No! Is this a throw? I think it is. Or maybe he knew he was gonna get revealed too quickly. He's gonna try to fight straight up. That is not gonna work out, and in the end, our red human barcode is going to GG out. And that is going to do it. Whew. That was tense. I thought he was gonna go for the base race, and that AlphaStar might lose because it doesn't know what to correctly prioritize, but I guess it didn't know in the end. So that makes it 16 to 2, which means we've done 18 games. Let's jump into another one. This is going to be a PvP between the blue Protoss, which is AlphaStar. Excuse me, and this guy. Up in the upper left in the red, our human red barcode Protoss player. And then in the bottom right, as blue Protoss, is AlphaStar's Protoss agent. So apparently that barcode was a GM ranked guy, which is pretty darn impressive, if you ask me. Okay, let's get into the game. So if my score is correct, let me see if I can do this. This is 2 to 16. Yeah, 2 to 16. We've been through 18 games already. This is game number 19. Do one more after this and then call it a day, but wow, what a day it has been. Second probe out on the map. Humanity never stops amazing me. So let's see what humans have in store. Where's my forge? There's my forge. Let's get my cannon rush on. All right, pylon on the high ground, and I'm guessing AlphaStar has no idea how to handle cannon rushes. Like, it's pulling probes to fight because it knows that it needs to, because it has things to attack, but let's see if this is done correctly. Nice cancel there. Will any of these get up? I think one cannon will finish. Yeah, so he's gonna have one cannon. Zealot will be able to unpower the cannon though, almost immediately. Oh no, there's another cannon down there. Yeah, so he's gonna need to pull more, but oh no, I think AlphaStar could have won that, right? It would have been close, but as is, I think the game is now officially over. Oh, okay, I didn't actually realize that there were cannons going down over here. So now AlphaStar loses on 2 fronts. Well, chop for humanity, boys! We got this cannon going to work, another pylon just to make sure that it stays alive. These cannons, when they finish, will end the game. I'm almost sure that every human victory has been from cheese. I'm pretty sure that that's the case. Yeah, now everything's unpowered. AlphaStar, it is time to naga. It is time to get out. Yeah, there it is. GG. AlphaStar taps out. Humanity puts another one on the board. 16-3. Good job, human people. It's not printf, but it might have been Nitix or somebody. Coconut Games. One of those cannon rushing legends out there. So wow, the red barcode human player did actually take a win there. That's pretty impressive. So let's get into what is, I think, our last game of the day. I might do one more after that because that game was so close, or so short. So let's see, what's our current score now? We've got 3 for the humans, and then 18 for our AI. Oh, actually, I did that. Yeah, I did that correctly. So down in the bottom right-hand corner, in the red, as Protoss, is our AI AlphaStar, our AI agent AlphaStar. And then playing in the upper right-hand corner, or upper left-hand corner in the blue, is our Protoss player Mage. Let's find out what his tag says. Passion Mercs, I want to say. Yeah, Passion Mercs. Passion Mercenaries. Nice. All right. I was wondering what his PM clan meant. So, yeah, we're going double gas first. Uh-oh. I want to see what we're going for tech. Coming down to check. Nope, there's nothing weird going on there. Double gateways. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, AlphaStar, how do you learn? Let's see. There's a 4K MMR player who went Mass Ravens and won versus the Terran AI. There's a Zerg player who went Ling Muta versus them and won. Oh, okay, that's really interesting. But I'm guessing the vast majority of human victories versus AI are cheeses, just because I'm guessing they'd be incredibly effective. But thanks for the update, USS Captain in the chat. So finally, here we go. We've got 2 gateways warping in. Are we gonna get warp gate? I don't know. Yeah, there it is. Or there it isn't, I guess. That's just to get stalkers. Where's... Alright, so checking out everything looks good. Seeing the Nexus, obviously good if you're rushing somebody. Warp gate on the way. Where's Menexus? Oh, he sent the probe back. What? I thought he was going to build a Nexus at 400. Am I just like totally out of tune with this build? Saving Chrono Boost. Yeah, there it is. All right. This makes sense. I was saying he is rushing, right? He is rushing, and then I was like, yeah. Okay, pylon on the map. Warp gate almost done. Robo on the way, and let's see. Now there is a world in which these 2 adepts run across the map and kill a butt ton of probes, but there's a force field on the ramp, so obviously that will not be effective. Okay, if it has no energy from hallucinating Phoenix, then obviously, yes, it will die. But, oh, there we go, scouting out the adepts. Two adepts on a Stalker is not a great matchup for the Stalker, by the way, so... that Stalker dies, and that's not good. Oh, and they get scouted! Oh my goodness! He scouts the proxy. Now, does he still die from the proxy, though? That's actually going to be really interesting for me to see. Now, the Adept knows that he needs to kill probes, but it doesn't know why it's important to kill this probe. So obviously, it's going to keep attacking the buildings, but, I mean, you don't really care about that. You're getting immortals. The warpins continue. The sentry is rallying forward along with more stalkers being just straight up produced from the main gateways. And now the Phoenix coming out. They will be able to lift the Immortals, but they won't really be able to deal with a high stalker count. And there's a high stalker count. So suck it, Phoenixes. And yeah, now we just walk up and win the game. Now, overextending would obviously be a big mistake. There are still stalkers and probes that still do damage, but obviously focusing down these Phoenixes is very, very effective. Picking up the Immortals, though, that's a pretty big win. More popping out and more stalkers being warped in here, but I think this is a pretty good place to be if you are the human player mage. Obviously, you don't want to attack into infinity shield batteries. Let's see if this is actually going to allow him to hang on. He needs to synchronize the volleys on those stalkers. Still picking off probes. That's pretty good. 24 to 33 workers, though. AlphaStar still way in the lead. And also, oh, by the way, has an expansion. So there is a little bit of a timer on this. Obviously, the aggressive advantage. Oh, no, that unpowered all the shield batteries. Well, that's obviously not very good. Another lift. Here's an Immortal out for Protoss AlphaStar, but it's going to get dove on almost immediately. It's picked off. No more Immortals on the way. This is not it, but Mage got to get some actual real damage done right now. And oh, just the last sliver. And there's the repower on all those shield batteries. And now Mage is going to have to run away. His magic spells, they're being countered. Obviously, Mage did get some damage done, but he will need Immortals to crack that, and losing those Immortals earlier did not work well in his favor. Now, AlphaStar has 36 workers, a higher army count, and really just everything going their way. A high ground, a ramp. It's narrow because of the rocks. Like, this is not going so well for Mage, needless to say. Adept headed around the corner, waiting for, I think he needs to wait for 2 Immortals, but like, look at what's at the top of the ramp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 almost full energy shield batteries, double Immortals, stalkers. Oh my goodness. So yeah, my point is, this is not going to go well. He's expanding over here. Now that's another interesting thing for AlphaStar, because it's scouting for an expansion here. Does AlphaStar know how to look for hidden bases? I don't know. I guess we're about to find out. Disruptor. Oh, I like it. Where did he build the support bay? Oh, it's way back there. No wonder I didn't see it. I should have maybe scouted it on the support tab, or on the production tab. But let's see if AlphaStar can micro against disruptors. Well, that's a yes. Also, obviously, you don't want to fight without your disruptor shots up. More disruptors should be on the way. And yeah, if you can chain some disruptor shots here, that might actually be a great way to deal with AlphaStar. I'm sure I'm not the first person to have these ideas, but it's kind of cool to see them unfold in such an interesting way. I can see recalled a bunch of probes over here too, so yeah, actually in a pretty good spot. As long as, yeah, I guess this is a full wall up, so there's no way that Adept gets through. I guess he's, yeah, just gonna start chipping away. You just morph in a stalker, or warp in a stalker over there, and you're probably pretty good. A couple of disruptors. Does he go for a disruptor drop though? Like, you could honestly disruptor drop like right up here, and I don't know if AlphaStar could deal with that. I hope we get a chance to see it. Come on, disruptor drop. I know you can do it. I believe. Let's go. All right, triple disruptors. Oh, and finally an observer. I really wanted to see the disruptor drop. But honestly, like, the macro is starting to really kick in. 20 supply advantage, mass phoenixes, and obviously disruptors do not disrupt air units. So those will be lifted theoretically very quickly. So he needs lots of anti-air stalkers and then lots of immortals. Ready, go. Come on, Mage. You got to put 4 on the board here. Don't let humanity down. Here come out the disruptive shots, but once again they're lifted almost immediately. And some tragedy striking. Oh no! I mean, it was a cool idea, but this is massive amounts of immortals. And that's it. Yeah, GG. Mage taps out. And that is 3-19. Our score. So over 22 games, the vast majority were won by AlphaStar. I think I actually did learn a lot here. It's been about 4 hours of broadcast time, so I hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. If you have any lessons that you learned from the stream, make sure to tweet at TitanEX1 on Twitter or at RAPiD and let us know what you thought about the broadcast. I'd certainly love to know some of your analysis on what the AI was able to accomplish that impressed you the most. I think, honestly, for me, the most impressive game that we got a chance to watch was like the stutter step and drop micro from the Terran AI was actually really impressive. And it looks like the Terran AI is doing much better for wall-ins, for depot raising, unraising, lowering, stuff like that. So the Terran AI I thought was going to be the worst, but it actually wound up impressing me the most. Protoss AI, I think, obviously is pretty refined, and the macro just between all the AIs seems to be just insane. So it's safe to say they're coming for our jobs. The AlphaStar AI is really doing a great job, growing by leaps and bounds on the ladder. So if you have an opportunity to play this AI, then send your replays on in. You can, I guess, contact you can contact Titan EX1. Twitter's a great place to do that. Make sure to let them know. A big thanks to Titan EX1 for organizing this series. This is our second broadcast, and really love what they're doing to kind of further the, I guess, exposure that a lot of this AI research gets. So big thanks to Titan EX1 for running this event, to everyone who tuned in and watched, whether you're watching live or through a VOD, and just to everybody for supporting StarCraft and being interested in the AlphaStar or open or DeepMind AI research. It's absolutely fascinating. So I'm glad that I was able to share some of these games with you all. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast, however much you watched of it, and hopefully we'll see you back again for another one. So thanks for watching. We'll see you later.